in a criminal crime don't pay. Seeing the crazy look, Eggman's fake. Don't let it hit you more. 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 Don't let it get you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit 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 you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you more. Don't let it hit you more. Don't let it get you
1, 2, 3. I think we're here now. Apologies for the later wait. I've been trying to set everything up. I was looking for something. I needed to switch mouses. I think we're good to go. I'm just double checking everything. Looks alright to me. Right. Can you hear me? There's a lot of people here. Can you all hear me? Okay, loud and clear. I'm getting that now. All right. I need to go back to the chat and see what I've missed. All right. Let me open up with there we go. We are chilling on a Sunday evening. Don't know, depends where you are, I guess, where your time zone is. Right. Let's fucking go. All right. The music is my usually chill Sonic playlist. I think we started with the Mario and Sonic Rio Games theme or some theme from that. Yeah, I mean, oh, well, I guess it's technically Nintendo music, but it could also be considered Sega. I don't know. I don't know who does the music in those games. Okay, where are we at? Yeah, I mean, I put it on. I like my Sonic music. It's good. Yeah, video cast. Speaking of which, let me. I might need to get something again. Right, 1 second, everyone. All right. So as of yesterday, I finished part 2 of the Nausicaa video. So part 1 of that means that 28 minutes or 28 minutes and a half of the video have been done. They're complete, more or less. So, we're getting there. The things I'm waiting for now is a guest appearance. So I'm waiting on someone else's content there a little bit, but it's fine. In the meantime, I've got some other stuff. I have some fixing of the end of the video to do. Like I could adjust some of the stuff there, figure out the trajectory a bit more of the outro. And there's a couple of other videos, like I said, I plan to do in quick succession with this one. So I'm going to start working on those too in the next week. So that'll be my plan, is to sort of, because I don't think the last part of the video, the third part, I guess, but we'll bring it all together. I don't think it's going to be that long. I estimate like maybe 10 minutes max. And like the second part I just finished is 18 minutes long. So it took a while for me to put together. The first part was like 10. So yeah, we're at 28 minutes in. And I just need to. I'm going to try and post a link to it in the chat, but sometimes it gets a bit funny when I do that. So I'm going to give it a go and see if it'll let me do it or not. Let's see. All right, let's give it a go. Did that go through? Oh, it looks like it hasn't went through. Gosh darn. I tried to send a link in chat, but I don't think it went through. Maybe that will go through. Yeah. All right. There's some holes in it. There we go. Okay. So I got that working. Now I need to catch up with everything. Okay. Let's see. So we got Let's Glow, elevator music. Yeah. Someone was asking about the video. But yeah, the Patreon link there is for the second part, 18 minutes. So currently there is 28 minutes of the video completely done. Pretty much, yeah, everything of them is done. Like I said, the last chunk is the only thing that needs to be sorted now. Now, where were we? Happy birthday. Is it someone's birthday? If it's someone's birthday, happy birthday in the chat. And if there's a release date, honestly, there isn't. I don't want to put down release dates. I want it out in September. That's all I know right now. I was hoping for early September, but it's become editing it has been really intense. It's been because there's a lot happening. It's very fucking intense editing wise. Like that 18-minute block took twice as it took. I think the second like part. While it was twice as long, there was a lot more clips in it, but it still took me twice as long to edit it as the first part. Just because like it was just very dense. And I'm hoping the next part won't be as. I think I've gotten like most of the hard work out of the way, and now it's just like, let's get on with it, right? And yeah, I'm hoping to just sort of like summarize and get the fuck out of there, but we'll see. Hopefully at the end of September. But yeah, like I said, there should be. I have 3 videos planned in this area, and that it's an update channel video, kind of state of the channel thing, video on Fantastic Planet and Nausicaa all together. Those are like the chunk of videos I'm planning, and then I will have a trajectory. Hopefully in the update video, I'll give an idea of what I'm planning to do. I've been thinking about it a bit more, and I want to start the Arno video after the Nausicaa one, but it may take a lot longer to do. So I may take a break on it in the November, December period to do like another month of videos, because I haven't released that many videos this year, so I feel like I need to like push them up because that's how YouTube works. So it might be good for me just to do like a huge wave of videos for 4C month I want to do, and do them as separate videos, and then at the end, maybe in like January, I'll like patch them together as a whole video and add a outro and intro, sort of create a kind of like cohesive world of it all. That would be my ideal. So where are we at? Well, you can leave a like if you want. Dylan's hyped for the Nausicaa video, great to hear. Yeah, there's a very few long form videos on Nausicaa in terms of the like documentary style either. Even like the documentary quotation marks that they made with Ghibli, which is called like Birth of Studio Ghibli, really only talks about the movie for like a couple minutes. And there's not like a lot of there's a lot to talk about, and they haven't really covered it in like a broad way. There's just a lot of different places that have touched on it piece by piece, but nothing in a cohesive manner. That could be like 40 minutes, I guess. Let's see. So how are we going? How are we going? Sorry, Nabil. This is when I stream every time. If you need to go to bed though, please. Okay. Section. Two. Okay. I mean, it is just for everyone. It's 6:23 over here in England. Oh yeah, it sounds like we've gone. All right, where are we at? Link is broken? I don't know, what link are we talking about? All right, where are we at? Oh yeah, if the link is broken, it's because I had to cut it up for YouTube to post it, unfortunately. So if you there's 2 spaces in it. If you just copy and paste it, attach them together, it should be fine. $123 in the US, and that's pretty cool. Pinned link to your Patreon? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had to put some spaces in it or it wouldn't let me link it, so it should be alright now, hopefully. Yeah. And what are my thoughts on the latest Berserk chapter? I haven't read it, but I've heard the ending seems pretty bleak. Bittersweet, even. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read it yet. But like, it sounds like it's the last one, unless someone else knows about that, about Berserk. It's Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But like, I didn't really expect it to stop any other way, to be just sort of abrupt, because I think it might be a bit too much to give someone else, even your assistants, the precision of finishing a manga like Berserk on their own. Because I don't know how much Mirai had actually planned. How's it going, Inks Manga? Hope you're doing well. And someone asked me about the latest Ava movie. I have not seen it, I'm afraid. Wait, sorry, did I miss? I think I missed something. Didn't I? Oh, sorry, Brooks. I think I missed your message. Have I watched Batman Ninja? No, I haven't had time to watch anything. I don't have Netflix either. Maybe I'll watch it sometime. I've seen clips of it before, but it's not really my style. But maybe I'll give it a go. But yeah, it's just we'll see. Hmm. Yeah, but yeah, sorry. I don't have anything to say about it. Okay, let's see where we're at. Yeah, I didn't see the new Ava film either. I'd probably watch it when I do the Arno video, but I haven't had time to see it really. Um, Self-employed. Do I log my hours when you work? You don't need to. You don't need to. Well, you wouldn't need to log your hours if you're self. Well, I wouldn't personally need to log my hours. I just work as much as I can. That's kind of how it goes. I do. I try and get through the day and do as much as I can, and then go to bed. That's how it be. And then if I've got other stuff to do, if I've got other stuff to do in the day, I got to do it, and then I do it. That's how this sort of goes. I don't think it's a perfect system, but like I just try and get what I can done. Among whatever else life has thrown at me. So yeah, because depending on the day, I'll be doing something radically different. Like I might be editing, might be writing, might be researching. That's how it goes. How's it going, Sam? No, Brooke, sorry, I did see it, but I was scrolling through the chat again, and I was going to get to it when I did, but I somehow managed to scroll past it. But yeah, I appreciate the donation. Yeah, I guess it's kind of surreal to know that it's like the end of the era for Berserk. I mean, or so far, right? But I guess that's the way it has to be. Sad as it might be, but it's just done. Thanks, Sane. I appreciate. Oh yeah, we got a new shirt. This is I think some people have seen it in the chat, and they're molding, which I think is fucking hilarious. This is from No More Heroes 3. This is a nice bit of exclusive merch for I thought it'd look good with the glasses, because there's nothing I like more than pissing people off for like very like meek statements. But yeah, I think it's a nice double combo. I was gonna wear it in one of my videos with the jacket on. I don't have the jacket with me though. It's probably in the other room. Maybe I'll put it. It's kind of warm a bit. It's not like super warm. So maybe in a bit I'll put the jacket on. I think it'd be a good combo together. What anime do I like this year? I've seen one anime this year. The one anime that matters. There's only one. I don't care about everything else. And that is Ore Toshima. The story of a YouTube cat. They show them on YouTube. They're 1.5 minute short pitch, like a little videos, little animated videos about a cat called Toshima. He was like a wandering, I guess he was a wandering street cat. He then is like taken in by some lady. Yeah, that's what I watch. I watch that when it comes out usually. I might be an episode behind or two. And there's also like a short series that comes with it, where like even tinier webisodes. Yeah, that's the only anime I think I've seen this year. What else has come out this year? I don't remember. But I think it's a good time. I think episode 2 is genuinely like a really fucking good. Like episode 2 of Toshima. Jesus fucking Christ. They really went hard on it. Like for such a small story, they filled a lot of like potency in just that amount of time, and I think that's really impressive. Have I watched any of the Batman animated movies? Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. I mean, I've seen a lot of the animated series Batman. You know, because Telecom worked on it. Well, Telecom, yeah, it was Telecom. TMC, well, it was TMS and Telecom did a lot on the early Batman stuff. I had a lot of it on DVD once upon a time. But like, I like Mask of Phantasm quite a bit. Batman of the Future movie as well, like the Return of Joker. It's been a while since I've seen the Freeze one, but that one was pretty interesting if I remember right. Um, the newer ones, not really. I've seen bits and pieces here and there. I think I watched Under the Hood, but I wasn't really a fan of that. What other ones has there been? Later Batmans. I don't really like watching comic adaptation Batman films because I think they're incredibly boring. Because they're very just rotary. I don't really get the impression that usually when they're adapting like one of the more popular stories that they're doing it in the most creative fashions. It seems very by the numbers, and I've read a lot of those stories in the past. So like usually I'm just not that interested really of seeing like Batman Year One, the movie animated version. Like maybe if someone interesting was doing it, sure, but like yeah, a lot of those ones I've never really cared for. So yeah, that's how it'd be. Trying to think of the latest Batman film I saw, like animated one. It probably was Under the Hood. I think. I don't think I've seen anything after that. I saw a bit of. I don't know if that came out after or before. I saw a bit of the anime one. The Bat was it? It's called Gotham Knight or something like that. I've seen some of the shorts from Gotham Knight because Madhouse did one of them. Yeah, I mean, I really like Mask of Phantasm. What's my favorite figure in Japanese history? Japanese history is way too big to have one figure. I'm not really too bothered in like the micro. But what were you guys saying? Oh, Nana. You finished Nana, Greg. You know, I should probably watch Nana sometime as well. You know, Madhouse Respect. And someone interesting directed Nana, didn't they? I think I remember hearing that. I can't recall the name though. Yeah, it'll be bittersweet in a way. Definitely. If we're talking about Berserk, it's definitely gonna be bittersweet. Nice shirt. Yeah, I like it. It's nice. It's a good Travis shirt. Me and my friend got like matching ones. Well, he got a hoodie, and I got the nice one of this. The nice what do you call them? Sleeveless. I'm losing the name in my head. Tank top probably. Tank top. Because usually I wear a tank top on stream, especially in the summer, like now when it's pretty like it's pretty swart. It's quite close in the air. It's quite warm, so you know it's good. It's good. It's good wear. How's it going, Cameron? Just wondering how you did it. My friend is self-employed and logs his hours so he can precisely know how long it takes him to do one task. Uh, that's not going to work for me. It would take me more time to log my hours, and because like everything I do is like not calculated in such a way. Like editing 10 minutes of video can radically change in time if depending what's in that 10 minutes. If it's clip selection, right? If you're editing clip selection, so that's just like clips you have and you've got all the clips, that could take a day or two. Like I could have a 10-minute block of video, right? And I could maybe edit it in 2 days if it's just clip selection. But on the other hand, if you've got 10 minutes of video and it's a lot of just like After Effects and other compositions, drawing and other like techniques all at once, all that sort of stuff happening, that could take way longer. And you can't, there's no real utility in me like figuring out how long it should take me to do a part of the video. I can only figure out how long it will take me to do a part of the video. So yeah, I wouldn't be interested in logging my hours, and I'm kind of scatterbrained anyway, so I just do what I can. That's just how it goes. I'd probably rather it didn't continue in terms of Berserk anyway. Yeah, I got the shirt in the mail the other day. I thought it would be fun to wear it on stream. I haven't played No More Heroes 3 yet, but maybe I'll play it. Well, my wrist is kind of busted, so that's not happening. So yeah, that ain't gonna be. Oh god, I'm losing my. What the fuck? What is my chat doing? Keeps bumping without my permission. Yeah, no thanks, Hidden Gem Gamer. I don't have time to read 10,000 words about anything. Yeah, I know Batman is different, Brooks. There's different Return of the Joker movies? Two different Jokers? What, you talking about the censored and the non-censored? I mean, I've only seen the uncensored one. Um, yeah, The Dark Knight. There you go, classic now. Yeah, I didn't see the Killing Joke one. I know what they changed, but I've read the Killing Joke, and I don't really think it's the best kind of thing to be adapting that way. Anyway, it's a little bit of its time. But the way they did it was incredibly like formulaic. For like, I had the original comic, like where they had the psychedelic colors, and yeah, I feel like with a story that's with that kind of context, they didn't really take any liberties, which I think is probably the better way of doing it. Yeah, I've seen the Cameron. I've seen the Deadshot short definitely because that's the one that Thingamajig worked on. Kawajiri. I think he was uncredited, but he was like director on it. And I might have seen another one of the shorts from Gotham Knights. You know, it's an anthology film. They're usually fun anthology films, so I don't mind. I don't mind watching them. I've never been a fan of the Under the Hood film. It's okay. It's not really to my taste. It seems kind of popular for those films, but yeah. Oh, actually, I have seen like maybe an episode of Pui Molcar. I don't know. I remember Cora asked me to do like a quote for it, so I had a little gander at it. But yeah, I didn't watch the thing. I mean, Pui Molcar, yeah, that seems fun. Send Megalobox too, seemed pretty cool, yeah. Um, yeah, I've got to spend more time watching Sonny Boy really at some point. And World Bubbles You Up looked really cool as well. And someone, sorry, I can't read that, but someone said sup in the chat, and I'm saying, how's it going? Have you had a good one? Cameron, I don't. Oh, Cameron, you might have not seen. I've done a dress up as Travis before. I can post it in the Discord if you want. I've definitely dressed up as Travis a couple. Well, loosely. I mean, I could use the Yakuza jacket, but I do have just like a red leather jacket, so lying around somewhere. So I got something a little closer. Mm. Yeah, I had a feeling that Nana was directed by someone who's pretty in the know at Madhouse. Who was it? What? Who directed it? Morio. Asaka Morio. Storyboards on the Anne Frank film. Interesting. Worked on Cardcaptor Sakura too. No surprise there really. And She's Sweet Home. He did some stuff on that. Yeah. Trying to see. Is there anything else here I'd know that he's done? Ore Monogatari. Ore Monogatari. With 2 exclamation marks. Pops. Yeah. And he worked at... Yeah, it's like classic Madhouse director there. Oh. Oh, thank you for the £2, Brooks. I only realised there's a Virtual Fire anime in 1995. I think I've heard of it, though I haven't seen it. I've seen the Street Fighter movie, Street Fighter 2, the movie, the anime one, which came with my Xbox copy of Third Strike, and I've seen the is it Fatal Fury movie by Obari? I've seen those two. Oh no, where were we? Sorry. Batman and the Ninja Turtles sounds very fun. All right, but does Batman and the Ninja Turtles have that classic scene where Batman says, "This is where my parents died, Raphael," and he goes, "Not tubular." Did they do that in the film? Because if not, I don't want to. I don't want to hear it. Have I watched Revolutionary Girl Usuna? No, I've not actually got around to it. But maybe one day. Yeah, I mean, Odd Taxi looks pretty interesting as well. This year seems to be in like a very unique. There's a lot of unique tastes out, but again, I don't. To be honest, I don't really have time to be watching like seasonal anime, and like I like to if I'm gonna like have a break, like with dinner or whatever at the end of the day, I kind of like to separate it from what I work on like the daily basis. It's nicer to get something away from anime, because if I'm watching an anime, there is a somewhat like behind the scenes brain movement with me, which is like, okay, but is this a video? So like, if I really want to like completely shut away from work, it is better for me to not be watching anime, and and watch something that's completely different. It's just easier. Like I still watch anime from time to time, but it is it's a dedication, especially when you're not doing it for a video. Um, Nana's getting a Blu-ray, is it? That's pretty nice. I don't know if it'll ever come around down this part of the country, but I appreciate that it's still like possible to get from somebody. Have I ever watched the Dam Keeper CGI short? I have no idea what that is, I'm afraid. Did I miss something? God, I'm losing the chat. I'm losing everything. I'm sorry, everyone. Give me a second. I'll figure out what I'm doing. Um, um, where are we at? What have I been doing recently to relax? Um, well, to relax, it's a complicated situation. I like to I've gotten into like a thing recently where I've been cycling a lot more because I'm trying to keep my energies up, keep the health going because of stress and other factors recently have kind of gotten over the top of me, especially with my wrist, which maybe carpal tunnel. I went to the doctors recently and they shocked it and told me it seems fine to me, but I still need to have like an ultrasound and some of the stuff. I don't know. They were very we did the thing, but they haven't really told me what I need to do next. And I was expecting a letter in the post, and nothing's came yet. And it's been a week or so, so it's kind of annoying. I feel a bit like I'm in the dark. But I need to go talk. Maybe on the next couple of days, I need to talk to them. But yeah, I've been trying to be more active to try and relieve a bit of stress, I guess. So yeah, I've been cycling more, and talking to people like that I really like, my friends and such, that trying to socialize when I can a bit more here and there, like you book it in. And I've been watching a bit of the my friend wanted to watch some of the Superman the animated series, and I downloaded some for him, and I've been watching a couple episodes here and there with like lunch or dinner. So that's the only thing I've seen recently, if I recall. So yeah, it's been a change of pace. I used to watch it when I was a kid, so I guess it was kind of nostalgic going back. I've watched it here and there. yeah, I mean, there's some episodes that I was like really vividly remember watching, like the Brainiac episode, and it's kind of weird seeing it again because I've got all these like I don't know how you'd call it, like I can like I can feel like I get some sort of like frisson and feeling from like rewatching it because I'm feeling like these. I guess maybe when I was like younger, my reactions to things were a bit more vibrant, so like I can kind of like sort of like taste or like feel certain effects in watching it again that like go back a long way. Yeah, so that's how it's been. Do I like the James Bond movies? Some of them, not like a Die Hard or anything. I'm probably not going to watch No Time to Die, to be honest. Keeper. So is Keeper short? I'm not going to be able to find that off that. Yeah, Karen, I wouldn't be able to keep up with seasonal anime because I don't like watching stuff weekly. It's just not really for me. So I don't watch it usually. If there's one that I find interesting, I might sit down. But yeah, it's usually just finding the time or the excuse to actually watch something, which I don't really, I'm not like head over heels to doing. Yeah, like I said, Salter guys, like keeping up with anime releases is like a lot. I tend to like watching shows on my own, like on my own schedule, which tends to be like when I'm eating a meal or something. I like to watch an episode here or there a day. Rather than if it's weekly, I'll forget about it. I won't keep up with the schedule, and I'll just lose interest usually. Max Fleischer's Superman is really good. I've seen a lot of them. I actually own a fair few of them on like DVD. Because my copy of Superman, the original movie for Superman, has like a bunch of shorts on it because I think at that time they were public domain or something. They just threw on like 7 or 8 shorts of the Fleischer Superman, which is I really like this Fleischer Superman. There's an interesting history behind it. Like I mean, it's hard to tell how much is like bollocks, but they were basically advertising the original short, like the first 10-minute one, or like 8-minute one, which is like the one where they go to the island of the evil scientist. They advertised it as having like 1 million drawings in it, and it cost like almost $1 million to make at that time, maybe like 800,000. So like it was a pretty big deal. 1 million drawings. I don't know where all those drawings went. I think maybe a lot of them went in the backgrounds, just because it's a pretty thing because 8 minutes of animation at 24 frames per second, like you can do the maths on how many frames it'd actually be in the short. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Brooks, I probably do need the healing power, but like it just I shouldn't trust old men to heal my wrist. That sounds like a suspicious activity. I think someone mentioned before about sorry, I saw someone mention it in the chat and I lost it but someone was talking about thingamajig, earwig, and they were talking that they thought the hate was overblown, and I 100% agree. It is very much a straight adaptation of the original book. So like most complaints I consider are like strictly like you'd be complaining about the book at the same time. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, yeah. Like, and as I said about the ending, I mean I think the ending is fine for what it is. I think it's supposed to be more like playful and it's supposed to like imply there's more going on. But you know, they could do more if they wanted to. I guess we'll see. I think it's a good first step for Goro to figure it because moving directly into a new like well, it's not necessarily new for him, but it's the first time he's actually been the director and worked with a complete staff of new animators on his own and learning like the way of doing CGI in the way he wants to do it, which I guess would be the Ghibli way of CGI. So like it's going to be a little it's going to take a little while for them to figure out that stuff, especially since a lot of the talent's fresh. But yeah, I appreciate what they did, and it's fine for a TV movie for like kids. Like I think it's a good little bit. Like the characters are fun. But there's stuff that could still. I think Still, yeah, there's room for improvement for sure. Did I see Maggie Ago? I don't know what Maggie Ago is. Is it old? Is it new? Maggie the Magic Labyrinth? I don't know what that is. Don't know it, I'm afraid. Sorry, Abel. Yeah, Worlds of Bubbled Up does look like it very much looks like 80s city pop, like the stuff that inspired city pop. Like that Californian illustration stuff. It has that edge to it, especially with the backgrounds. I really like the colors. And it has a new song by Taiko Onuki. That's gonna be fucking cool. Yeah, the album covers Yamasta was very inspired by the Californian art sort of era of the 80s. A mysterious viral from the 70s. Yeah, I mean, I should totally watch that sometimes. It sounds like a alright one. Steven Spielberg wanted Max Fleischer's Superman and Popeye in like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I mean, that would have been cool. I guess they couldn't make it work because I don't remember them being in there. Were they in there? I mean, Betty Boop was there. Was Popeye there? I can't remember. It's been too long. I mean, I really like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it has been a good time since I've seen it, and there's a lot of animated characters in it. Superman definitely wasn't there. I don't know about Popeye. Definitely Betty Boop was there. And Colm, how's my day? My day's been pretty alright. You know, just been getting by. Just finished up a couple little bits. I've been taking it a little easier today because I spent like most of yesterday just trying to do the final bits of that, like part 2 of my Norska video, which I have linked in the chat, but it's a broken link, so unfortunately you probably have to copy it and then paste it somewhere. But yeah, Nausicaa Part 2 was 18 minutes, and I thought I was close to the end. I had to shoot some stuff for it, like B-roll. I was shooting on the camera to get some bits of like the album, the image album. I actually own the image album, so I was using it as a prop. But like it took me longer than I thought because I was going through all the timeline and like picking out little mistakes and adjusting things. So something that I thought might take like an hour ended up taking a long time, and I think I didn't finish the whole video until quite late at night. So yeah, today I'm maybe a little winded still, but I'm working it out. Yeah, sorry, I think I've caught up with... Have I caught up with everything? Oh, I think there was one I missed. Yes, Ava, we got more edgy fashion today. Maybe I should put on some even crazier clothes to get people's attention. I've read Batman Blood Rain. I don't know they made an animated version of it, quite frankly. Did they do an animated version of that? Did they? Or are you just talking about the comic in general? As far as I can tell, there's not a movie mentioned here. But yeah, that one's pretty stylish. You gotta give that to stylish people to get something out of it. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, the rights, that's probably a thing. It's surprising that Spielberg, of all people, couldn't get the rights. But I guess it must be more expensive. I don't know how Betty Boop is so much cheaper, but maybe she was just more pivotal to the story or something. I mean, yeah, if you want to link something in the chat, you can, but I can't guarantee it won't get, like, siphoned by the bots, because sometimes I can't even post stuff. And Brooks, in terms of the Overfiend, interesting history. Might be worth making a video about the history stuff and reaction. I mean, I've seen it, but like, you know, it's another OVA of that era. Very of its time, I guess. It's got a very particular style to it, obviously, and it's incredibly hardcore in its Erogoro elements. I don't necessarily have any strong feelings about the anime itself. But I do think the history behind it and its impact is actually very fascinating. Although I do very much like Golden Boy, Nick. Golden Boy is king. The most extreme thing I've ever seen. I have seen things more extreme, definitely, than Overfiend. Far more. I have definitely seen things that are worse than Overfiend. Though that's not to say that Overfiend isn't bad. But Overfiend is, yeah, far from the worst thing I've seen. But maybe when I was like 11, when I saw like a clip of it on television, it was probably the most extreme thing I'd seen because I was like kind of shouted from that stuff. So it was a bit like, whoa, what the fuck's this? But yeah. Oh, yeah, I've heard Blue Period is some people's favorite. I hope it does well. What, live action or anime? In both. I've seen worse in both animation and in live action. Yeah, I would recommend. If you're into raunchy comedies, I would recommend Golden Boy as an experience to see. I even think the dub is like pretty fucking iconic. The dude who played Golden Boy in the dub is like 100. He's going 110% all at all times. That man is a king. Yeah, you got to study, my friends. Oh, not me. Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Kentaro. He only did one voice role. He might have. Well, the thing is, with like voice roles, he might have had a pseudonym, so it's possible he might have done more roles than just Golden Boy. It might have been under like a false name, or he could have just been a guy that got that role and was like an actor, or maybe he was in theatre or something. Like, there's a lot of factors there. Especially, there's a lot of like no-name voice actors who sort of fall in for one gig and then fall out. Like, there's a lot of stories of how like Bryan Cranston did a fair bit of voice work in the '90s here and there. Pretty sure he was on Power Rangers at one point. He's on Macross Plus, as far as I understand. Like, before he became like the superstar he is today, he did. You sometimes as a your agent might just give you a couple roles like that because it's like an afternoon of work. Sometimes easier said than done. It depends if you've got lip syncing's difficult, but in Power Rangers, if you're playing a bad guy, there's no lip syncing there. Yeah, I also liked GTO back in the day. I don't know. I think maybe I've told this story before on the channel, but GTO, I actually watched the whole thing of it on YouTube in parts while I had a horrible case of chickenpox at age 14. I was in a real state because when you get chickenpox when you're older, it just gets more severe, and I'd never had it before that state somehow. And yeah, it was just really nasty. I was like covered head to toe in like full lumps, and they were just awful. But I just spent my time ignoring them by watching the whole of Great Teacher instead. Yeah, Bryan Cranston. I'm pretty sure he did some voice work all around. He's definitely in Macross Plus. I've heard he's in Power Rangers somewhere. It's like, it's one of the voices. Can I name you more gory anime? I'm not gonna pick out them out of a hat. I mean, obviously there's things like what's it called? Fuck, I can't even remember the name of it now. Um, Fuck, what's it called? The one with the little girl in the circus. Bryan Cranston's with Fei Long in Street Fighter 2 as well. That's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, Midori. There you go, Midori. Hey, thank you. Thanks, Nick and Hazel, for there. Midori. Also, speaking of Midori. Oh, cat's around. She might come in a sec. Speaking of Midori, that's a great band. The band Midori from Japan, kind of like a weird mixture of jazz and punk aesthetics. Maybe a bit of kawaii in there too. Midori, the band, is one of my favorites. I haven't listened to them in a while. I would love to have like one of their records, like a big one. Oh. Yeah, Midori. And, God, what were we saying? I mean, GTO is also like a product of translation too, so I guess it depends how you watch it. I mean, I was watching like really bad fan subs back in the day when I saw it, though I've heard a bit of the dub, and I think the dub has its own charm, but it's obviously quite a localization project. You coming up, cat? You coming up? There you go. There we go. I'm show everyone that you're always here to interrupt the stream. Good cat. Where are we at? Yeah, I mean, I generally enjoy GTO, but I haven't seen it much since. I've heard the manga's pretty good, but last time I checked them, there wasn't like a lot of great scans out there. Maybe there is now. I'd like to. I've heard the manga, the ending's better. I'll have to see. Kite. Yeah, Kite's pretty harsh too. Obviously, I've already talked about that one. Meow. Yeah, we got meows in the chat. Everyone, meows are here. She on screen? Let me just check. Yeah, she's on screen. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let me make it a little bit even more brighter in here. You good, cat? You good? Yeah, she's probably gonna sit down now. She's settling out. Okay. Yeah, always still in the show. That's what she does. Talking about music, what when I go on walks, I listen to environmental music. Yeah, you like ambient. Any suggestions to clear my mind? Mark, I've made some videos about that. Like pretty sure I've made a video on God, what's his name? Very specific dude that did what was that? I don't remember names too good, guys. I'm afraid. Ambient album. There's a video on my channel about ambient music somewhere. I don't know one particular artist, but you know, I just trying to. That's what I recommend. I mean, I quite enjoy listening to you know, some video game soundtracks from time to time. Especially the save songs in Resident Evil. There's a whole list of them on YouTube. Sometimes the one from Dead Aim, especially Resident Evil Dead Aim save song, is really fucking good. But you can probably find a lot of ambient music about. It's not that hard. Or just like relaxing music. There is an album by what are they called? Slow Burn? Are they slow? God, what is that band called? See, I don't remember. This is why you shouldn't ask me these questions. My brain doesn't work this way. Slow Burn? No, it's not. What am I thinking of? They were what's that? Fuzzy music. What's that fuzzy music genre called? I can't think of it. My brain is definitely not working today, guys. I can't help you. Oh yeah, Hiroshi Yoshimura was the guy I did a video on. Thanks, Hazel. At least someone's up to date with it. Chromony High is pretty good as well. A list of worth watching ARM Studio stuff. I mean, I don't know, just go through the list of the stuff I said in my video and see which ones appeal to you. I don't think it's as simple as black and white. Honestly, Hazel Chasers, I probably won't watch Star Wars Visions anytime soon. Dam Keeper. Don't know if I will regret it, Brooks. I don't really regret much in my life. I mean, it looks cute. It definitely looks cute. I can see that. Look at this picture. Yeah, it looks nice. But yeah, time. The star of the stream is here. Yeah, that's true. That is true. She's made her appearance. She's a star. What can I say? She likes to get the attention. Where were we? I should watch more movies outside of my box. I don't know, man. Brooks, you don't know what movies I watch. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, yeah, I know From Paris, Texas. Pretty cool. Yeah, I remember seeing Cromartie. I think again, something like the dub for Cromartie is pretty fun. But like, I've seen both the sub and dub. It's a good time to spend like an afternoon. How's it going, Salut? 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 Yeah, I mean, I think people like the chill hop stuff. Shoegaze is the music. Yeah, fuzzy music. There you go. Yeah, I mean, Golden Boy GTO, as Cameron says here, Golden Boy GTO, Kromari High, and Prison School. So pretty much the same kind of vibe. So if you like any of those, you probably like the other ones to some degree. Yeah, and like I like my Space Dandy. I like the dub of Space Dandy, but I think the sub, I think it should be a preference. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with the sub. I think some people prefer the sub, and I think they have a good argument to be made. Though I do like the dub actors, so I'm fine watching the dub because my Japanese isn't that good. Yeah, and Nichijo's pretty cool too. All right, Brooks. I see you've already gone. Okay, so I probably didn't catch you there, but yeah, you have a good one. All right. I've seen a little bit of Sunny Boy, but I know someone who works on it. And I think they've done, from what I've seen, they're doing great work on it. I think the show looks up my alley. I just haven't had time to watch it, like in full. Uh, Gas Olympics, that's kind of the name. That's quite the name, but good luck, I guess, for doing whatever you're doing on. I don't know what Ascension is. Is that game? Yeah, have good luck with it if it's just a game. 2 p.m. All right, well, at least it's early for you, Cello. Let's see where we're at. Claymation Olympic stop motion anime. I'm not really sure. Doesn't sound familiar to me. Someone might know it in the chat though. Oh. Move that light there. Where are we at? Fourth? They've made 4 Madoka They've made 4 Madoka movies. That's quite a lot. Ebichu. Don't know if I've seen Ebichu. Oh, I know this one. This is the one that looks a bit like Hamtaro, but he's like a raunchy hamster, right? Yeah, that one seems fun. I've seen some clips. Olympia Coloclos? Alright, there you go. If they made a live action version of Space Cobra, who would I want to play him? No one. I don't know. I don't really care. Uh, like what? Does it have to be like some sort of definitely and definitely not Chris Pratt. I would not want Chris Pratt to play him. If it would be anyone, I don't know. He just needs to be like like a handsome dude, like a handsome kind of ruggish, maybe like a little bit more like broad kind of dude. The thing is, the kind of actors who would play that role, or the ones that would inspire him, are now like in their 70s or 80s. So like, I don't know if there's anyone fresh that I know who could really, who I'd want to play it. Maybe like Michael Fassbender, which is I guess is a weird choice, but I think he's a good actor. But I don't know, throwing Michael Fassbender into the role could be funny because he already speaks lots of languages, and if he's in space, that could be a funny little thing. But I don't know. It really depends what kind of movie it's going to be. I'd rather it be like more like a Terminator than like a Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, I hope everyone enjoys their Madoka film. I'm not really caught up. I don't know much about it. So people who watch anticipating, I hope they have a good time. I mean, yeah, I guess Steve McQueen would probably be the kind of person that would play the role of like Cobra. Though I don't really like the implication of like reviving a dead actor. I think that's kind of a weird thing to do. Um, let's see. Kami-san has a question here. Why are most of the anime in 1080p and not 2K or 4K? Some movies get remastered versions, but I don't think any TV or Netflix anime is available in 2K or 4K. I mean, that has a lot to do with the factors of how they're created. Um, I think in Japan, well, it used to be the case, like in Japan, that a lot of TV anime was still made in 720p and they're upscaled when they get to television. It takes time to do upscales and it's costly. So, like, a lot of the times, especially with a format that's not really as popular, because, like, if you look at the numbers, like, DVD is still the most popular format in terms of disc formats. So, like, getting things up to 1080p tends to be the standard, and going beyond that tends to only happen to like really usually fanciful productions or ones that suddenly get find a good like 16 millimeter or something. You're more than likely to get those sort of upscales on like old projects that are that are big in certain regions or have like real to be using like Akira. But even then, when they happen, sometimes you'll hear stories about, especially in Japan, they have a preference towards like very very clean transfers, and because noise is where the detail is, you'll hear a lot of stories, especially from Japanese like 4K or restorations or whatever 2K 4K, of that taking away a lot of the detail and it becoming very like mushy. So like 4K and 2K aren't necessarily better if they're remastered in a way which, I mean, I guess it's going to be down to preference if you like that sort of thing, but I'm more of a noise guy. But like removing the noise to me seems like, kind of against the point of like upscaling it. But I get, there's a certain level of noise that you might want to get rid of if it's distracting. I mean, yeah, the guy who played Jamie Lannister in Game of Thrones is kind of like, he's a very blonde rogue guy. I mean, he might be able to play Space Cobra, I guess. He's basically just Prince Charming in person, so dirty him up a bit, like in the later seasons. Yeah, why not? I probably would prefer Fassbender though. I think he's more interesting. I mean, Greg, the issue is that we don't really know if Shaft is in financial trouble. I mean, a lot of those anime studios, like pretty much most of them, are in financial trouble. I don't want to make the assumption of that, them losing staff to David is really that important to them. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually important enough to have made a dent, just because the industry's so ram packed at this point. Maybe it has. I don't know. Losing staff isn't the same as like losing money though. You'll always find more freelancers, just maybe not to the same abilities. Yeah, 4K also takes up a lot of space, and it's kind of I think it's kind of unnecessary. I don't know. I'm not gagging to be watching things in 4K. From what I've seen of City Hunter, I like it, though I haven't seen too much City Hunter. I think I've seen one of the movies. But yeah, it seems like a fun time. Well, I mean, like noise is a byproduct of being on celluloid. So like the byproduct of the medium that we're talking about is the noise, like the noise, the sort of the spots, the dirt splash, whatever, the colors. It's like there's a lot of factors that that is film. That is what film looks like, and that is its defining. Some of its defining qualities. So like when you start removing those defining qualities, you seem to get a compromised creature. It would be kind of been like oh, I've got this record I've got over here, right? And for this movie, I'm going to record. I'm going to get a mic next to the record for this movie shot I've got. And what we're going to do is we're going to record the room noise and the sound of the popping and whatever coming out of the vinyl, and we're then going to remove all the vinyl noise and all the like the needle and any of the clicks or the the fuzz of the vinyl. We're going to remove all of that in post. And it's just like, well, what the fuck are you doing? Why don't you just use an MP3? It's like such a long-winded process to do something that you don't have to do. Yeah, the quote from Brian Eno I use sometimes, which is about how like mediums become like defined by what tend to be considered the problems with them, or like their defining qualities tend to be like the compression of a CD, or like the skipping of a record and the fuzz of that, or like the sort of sound a cassette tape has, or like the rewound. There's like certain and when they become not the predominant medium, they people become like nostalgic for those things because it was really what defines the sound of each medium tends to be like their unique qualifications, and a lot of that time will be like the limitations of them. And I mean, you see it like when people edit videos, right? They'll be using techniques and like sounds and ideas that were defined years ago. Like maybe you'll see someone add like a bunch of dirt and noise into a shot, like if there's something's old in a video, or maybe you'll see them add like a pause button, like on a VHS tape, and they'll add like all the poise, the noise you'd get on a VHS, like all the fuzzy lines, or maybe they'll add scan lines back in, or there's like all these factors. These things were just necessary for the creation of these things, but now people will add them back in to create a certain feeling, and that's about the iconography of it all. Yeah, I haven't seen Mandy. I've been meaning to. And Kami-san, I do know there is a couple 4K anime. I know that I think Space Cobra and Cagliostro both had 4K restorations in the States. I don't know if anyone else. I don't know if any other films have. I just think there's not really like a huge demand for them. I think Akira has. So like it's like big ones do, like the biggest ones maybe, but I think for a lot of studios it's just not worth it. I don't know if I've seen Magical Index. I don't know what that is saying. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like it's not necessarily the amount of pixels an anime has. I think there's a lot of factors of what makes something look good, and within the right context, any kind of size can look fine. But you need the right output. Like sometimes it's nicer to watch something in 480p than a terrible upscale of it in like 1080, which has just got like a huge amount of artifacting in like after image. I mean, I think City Hunter. Well, Greg, I think City Hunter is just a sign of its times. Like he's like a weird Lupin type perv guy. Though, like I said, I've only seen one of the movies, but I don't remember it. I remember it kind of being more novel than that one, but I don't know. It is what it is. What it is. I can't really change that now. Hmm. Kintare, Kintara. Kentaro OE? Oh, nope. What have I done? I'm trying to copy that name. Ah, yeah, from Golden Boy. Yeah, Kentaro from Golden Boy. Very good. Very good dude. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Series was like, what, 40 years ago now? Well, so it's not about nostalgia, but kind of is, but kind of isn't. Like, you can argue about text. It's about the feeling of something. And at first, usually what you'll hear a lot of times is that, like, the feeling of it, a transfer of something, becomes the thing that they are defined by in, sometimes negative ways. This applies to a lot of things. Like, you'll hear this now about early digital as well, because we're kind of at the age now where people have grown up with early digital camera stuff, which had a lot of, like, very specific. It had a very specific look. Like, say for example, David Lynch shot, like, Inland Island on like an old digital camera with, like, a bit of, like, there's a limit to, like, what you can see in the image, like a distortion that kind of gives it a feeling. Or, like, maybe, like, 24 days, is it 24 hours later? Like, these things were shot on, like, very early digital stuff. Or maybe, like, the stuff from, like, Dogma 95, is it? They were all, yeah. These things were defined. At the time, these things would be very critical because of their look, but now that in itself becomes an aesthetic. I don't know if that's necessarily nostalgia, but it becomes when it becomes less of a mainstream, when it's less of the mainstream, or when it's less of the current trend, people will look at some things with a different kind of feeling than they do originally, I guess you could say. I mean, you might see that with, like, 2000s anime aesthetic, when everything got, like, very big and bulbous, maybe very, like, very moe, very, when we really pushed those levels, the big eyes, in a very specific fashion, like the those kind of things, which maybe at the time got their own backlash, but now have found their own way back into people's memories and fondness. Even, like, early internet aesthetics too. Like, it kind of, it comes in waves for sure. I mean, Dolby surround sound. Do you have a surround sound? Who has a surround sound? I don't know. I don't have a surround sound. I don't think most people do. I mean, I once, when I was at uni, my friends bought, like, a surround sound set, but I think it's a bit extreme. I wouldn't be surprised if most TV anime don't think you're going to be listening to them in surround sound. Kami-san, that's just not correct, though, because anime Blu-rays have never sold more currently. At least in the US sanctions, anime Blu-rays are selling incredibly well, especially during the COVID thing. They haven't really stopped selling. Streaming and Blu-rays hold to two different audiences. They don't mutually exist in the same space. Like, there are people that will, especially as streaming starts to burst and we start seeing, like, people hoard different rights, or they get thrown around to different services you can't get. There is a veneerly, like, something kind of appealing about owning something that you never have to, like, lose. When, like, the only way to watch Legao is on, like, High Dive or something, and then maybe they lose the rights to it, and then where does it go? Or, like, well, you can only watch Ava on Netflix, but it's this version of it. But then if you want to watch the movies, you need to watch it on Prime. Like, this becomes kind of fucking ridiculous after a while, don't you think? Yeah, I mean, it's not to say that, like, things don't decrease over time or become, like, they find their own niche, but, like, yeah, usually they stay around. Like, Salo says here about TV and radio and magazines. And the magazines, like, they're a lot harder to do some of these things nowadays. I mean, radio's not going anywhere, but, like, magazines are certainly very hard to keep stable. But they do. Usually because they're, like, for a very particular type of collector, like a very particular type of audience. So that they usually play more to, like, niches. And then try and figure out where their gains and losses are. Peenman, I actually think, yeah, I've heard good things about Golden Kamui. I'd like to sit down and watch it sometime. I don't know if there's anything particular off the top of my head where I'm like, oh yeah, people should listen to this one, because if it's already a video I've made. You know, maybe I would say like, oh, everyone should check out, Madhouse's Metropolis or something. I could say that, or I could go, here's a list of videos I've made where like I've talked about stuff I think people should see, which is like the whole channel. I mean, Abti, I don't know if it's quite as simple as it being a job opportunities. I mean, like those jobs aren't necessarily the most amazingly paid, but they do exist. There is an industry for them, so I don't know if it creates. I don't know if it's wealth creation per se. Maybe for like two people, but yeah, I've heard good things about. Is it Denoy Coil? Denoy, how do you say it? Denoy, Denow Coil. I'm sure there's plenty. People in the chat can recommend their favorites. Claudio. So Claudia in the chat asks if I have I ever heard of Hiroshi Yoshimura. I've never seen a video about him. I mean, I made a video on him. I don't know. I guess maybe you just came in at the right time. I think it's kind of funny. If that's the case. Claudia, I made a video on that dude like a year or two ago. Um, I mean, I can try and find it. It might. I think I was talking about it earlier. I like his music a fair bit. So yeah, there's that. Let me have a look. I'll see if I can find it. Uh, Wait, is this it? Let me just check it. Oh, no, no, fuck. Alright, that just went terrible for a second. Sorry about that. My YouTube thing just fucking changed from the live stream panel into the video. That was great. Yeah. Yeah, yep. That's, I mean, I think there's a weird time code on it, but yeah. Do I... Other music that is like the ambient jazz, like that. Um, there might be some people in the comments with them. I can't think. I'm not very good off the top of my head, but you could probably find some selections by the side of it. I mean, there's a lot of ambient music around that era that aren't not necessarily from Japan, but like exist in the same pocket. Yeah, Nine Postcards is pretty great. To be fair, it's got a lot of albums. And Kami-san, I don't know if there is anything new about the Akira anime or Obito movie since they announced it. I think COVID might have had like a bit of a dent on it, or that they're just kind of like teetering along on them, production-wise. We haven't really heard much about it. I mean, I've said it before on the channel. I'm probably assuming the Akira TV show will just be CGI because I just don't think they have the manpower to do it any other way. The movie though might be a mixture of the two. But yeah, what was his name? Yoshimura, right? Yoshimura? Yeah, Yoshimura. Yoshimura is a very fascinating musician. That's why I made a video about him. Even though I knew he wasn't particularly popular, like popular. Right, I need to go to the toilet, everyone. I'll be back in a second. So let me Alright, I'm back. Let's take it to... There we go. Getting quite dark in here, isn't it? I should bring the light even closer. There we go. And let's move this one. And we up. There we go. Might switch out glasses too, so I can see a bit better. Whew. All right, where are we at? What's my thoughts on the upcoming TV show? What, the Cowboy Bebop one? I don't really care. Like, I mean, it's probably going to be good for the show overall because it's just more exposure to it, the original. But like, I don't really give a shit about live action adaptations of any anime, unless I think that the people working on it are interesting. I've said before, like, you know, if someone like the Wachowskis are working on an anime adaptation, no, my interest is piqued. If someone like Arno is working on one, interesting. But like Netflix and like some random production company I've never heard of, I don't give a fuck what they're doing. I don't think there's any like, I don't believe it's as simple as like they just aren't good, but it's just, yeah, mostly I just don't really care. You know, the limitations can really depend on the story, because like the limitations of the medium, or I guess you could say the limitations of film opposed to the medium of animation, kind of put them in a very awkward position a lot of times where they don't really transfer as easily. Like, you have to kind of figure out what you're transferring and how you're going to do it. Like, I don't really care. I don't know, like, do I need to care? Do we need to care about every adaptation of like something that we like? Is it that important? Like, you know, if they start adapting like a new version of, what, like if they make like a live action Angel's Egg, am I supposed to suddenly start like, oh, okay, well, I wonder how the live action Angel's Egg's gonna go? Or you know, I suppose they are making a live action Gundam, aren't they? Again, I'm not particularly that interested, but I could see the potential there to like at least expose the product to future people. But it seemed like with Ghost in the Shell, like I wasn't interested in seeing that, and I didn't. Though there was some kickback from it in that like I got to see the original film in the big screen because of Manga UK. But yeah, you know, adaptations come and go, but like a lot of them don't really stick the landing. People aren't really talking about, say for example, the really shit like live action Fist of the North Star film that came out in what, like the 90s? I don't think even people remember it. What about Dragon Ball Evolution? Are they still talking about that one? Or just like a myriad of other things that have been happened in the past but have just sort of fallen into obscurity. Well, Salu, I think it's like I said before, like the thing that you probably want to have high hopes in is who's making it. So like if you like the person who's making it or the people who are making it, then maybe you'd be more interested. But on the very like face of it, I don't really care now. Like there are live action like adaptations of anime that I like, or manga, I guess you could say. Like you know, I like Rikio and Speed Racer. Old Boy technically counts. Old Boy was a manga at one time, so there's three. I've heard good things about the Rinori Kenshin ones, but I haven't watched them myself. And there might be some more I like, but those are the ones I can think of at the top of my head. I'm really interested in seeing that bootleg Dragon Ball Chinese film they made back in the 80s. Yeah, and One Piece is getting a live action too, which is, well, I don't care. One Piece is like the least live action show ever. I don't know why they're doing that. I guess it's just money. I don't know, Peen Man. It really depends who's doing it, though, doesn't it? Netflix does it through Japan sometimes. Like Netflix has done a few adaptations of this stuff. Anything that gets very popular eventually tends to get a live action version of it. It's just money. That's just how this goes, right? Eventually, you'll end up with a terrible live action version of something that you're fond of. Isn't that just the rule? You know, they make like a battleships fucking movie. Yeah, it just goes that way. It's just the nature of the game. Yeah, I mean, I would prefer. I don't think anime really lends itself to live action. I would rather see it animated, but I feel that when it's done, it's trying to appeal to a different audience. Usually, they're trying to like broaden out the scope of the product. Like, there's also a City Hunter film in live action, isn't there, with Jackie Chan in it, which is like a really surreal thought to come to think of it. But you know, Police Story was big, so just do Police Story, but with City Hunter, right? Isn't that the idea? But yeah, eventually there's probably going to be an Akira live action film. I'm sure it'll be terrible, but it'll get people talking. Same with God, what? Astro Boy. I'm sure at some point there's going to be a live action Astro Boy film. I mean, I know there was a CGI one in 2009 that I never saw, but yeah, they'll probably figure out like they'll probably try and do like a live action Astro Boy film at some point. I mean, I don't know who would be so bold to do it, but I could see it happening. And then I'm wondering what else. I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? Cat, cat, cat. Okay. So yeah, well, I'm here. It's been a little while, so maybe I should mention it. So my pinned comment there is a link to the Patreon for the latest part of the Norska video, and I mentioned earlier, but I might as well just tell people just in case they're not here, they weren't here earlier, that the Norska video is probably going to be about 40 minutes long, and about 28 minutes of it are done now, and then, well, I would actually say it's more like 30. I think 30 minutes are done now. Yeah. So like we're getting quite close to the period. It'll be the longest like Ghibli like adjacent video I've done, I guess. Well, I don't know. I mean, Cagliostro was. I mean, you know, it's gonna be longer than Cagliostro, I think, because Cagliostro was like 30 minutes, I think, or close to 30. So this is probably the longest Ghibli related like video I'm gonna make. For now, until something else comes up. But yeah, I'm expecting it to be at least 40 minutes long. So yeah, we're getting there. Hopefully by the end of September it'll be out. Like I said, there's gonna be 3 little videos coming out in that period soon. So yeah, I'll restate. So we're gonna have an update video for the channel just to see what we're doing. Then we're gonna have the Norska video, and we'll have a shorter video on Fantastic Planet that will come out, which I'm hopefully to use. The plan with it is to try and use it as like a buffer, just in case that Norska video, which more than likely is going to get taken down by Ghibli very quickly. So it might come out and then just suddenly get taken down. So I need to have a video ready to like reboost it, you know, or like re-jig people to it if that happens. So that's the plan. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of Avalon by Oshi. I think that's an interesting one. From what I've seen, it's just hard for me to get a copy of it. He did some other live action stuff, because you know Oshi focused on live action for a bit. But yeah, I think when it comes to like someone that you are interested in as a creator and their team, like the people they work with, and they know, obviously there's usually more chance of something being like good, I guess, or fascinating, at least interesting. When it's just like Johnny No Blocks gets like hired by Universal Studios, and he has 2 indie films to his credit, and he has no power, and he does what the studio says, and has no control over the process like everyone else, and it's all just like a formula of just getting it done because it's a film with hundreds of people that he's never done before. That's not really something I'm particularly going to care about. Emmanuel, you don't have to pay me if you don't have money. That's fine. All I would say is like if you can give a like and a share on each video. That's all I can say. But like if you want to pay, if you get a job, go for it, my dude. But like you don't have to. Don't feel like you're pressured to having to do it. But I would appreciate it. I'll probably tell people about that in the update video. Just like, you know, I'll give a stretch about what I plan to do, and if they want to support me, I'll push them in the right direction, I guess, just to keep the channel going. You know, the health blood. But I appreciate the comment. The lighting setup. Well, Spaceman James, I don't know if I want to. This might burst the bubble a little bit. My lamp actually busted in the room. So I'm just using my shooting lights, but I've been using them for a little bit. Just because I thought it would make it a little bit more interesting. To have the lighting. These are just the 2 default lights I have for my videos, and whatever gels were left in them from last time I was shooting, I've left in. But yeah, I think for me, I don't like having the main light in this room on. I think it makes it a bit drab in here, and like I prefer ambient lit stuff. I don't like the sensory of being in a very bright room, so having multiple lights around for me is just more like, it's just more comfortable to stream that way without getting like a migraine or something. So if I can, I will use multiple little lights, and I think it kind of looks, I think it has its own style, and I guess it fits the thumbnail too. So that's really what I'm going for. I'm not thinking too hard about it for a stream. Usually I think more like particular in a video about how the video should look color-wise. Like when I light a video, I'm thinking more about like, I'm reflecting the tone of the video that we're talking about. That's what I'm thinking of. Like with the ARMS video, I was reflecting that I wanted it to feel like a CD, like red light district kind of thing. So we had a lot of like, we had these 2 gels in it, I think at the time. So it was like it was a lot of strong reds and blues and like little neon lights. I wanted it to feel that way. But like, say for example, when I do a video on Fantastic Planet, I might try and go for something that's a bit more down tempo, a bit more like candle. I like the feeling of something that's a bit more candle lit. I want something a bit more like that again. So I might go back to that era. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I've heard welding's a high-paid job. Isn't it kind of dangerous too? But like, good luck with it, I guess. Yeah, I mean, the light bouncing off the walls kind of makes it a little softer on my eyes too. So I take it that like bounce lighting is its own thing. How's it going from France? I wonder where you're from. Okay, oh god, I'm out of water again. Alright. No, we're dead on the water. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just take it a little casually. I'll take it casually without the water for a little bit. Cat. But yeah, that's kind of how it's going in terms of that video. I don't know what else to say. Like, there's generally today, I've been sort of just trying to decompress a little bit. Just because, like, yeah, the Nausicaa project went probably longer than I thought it would. I mean, we're like almost 2.5 months into it. I was hoping it would not take this long, but yeah, putting together a video, people, is a lot harder than you think sometimes. And a lot of it had to do with, I didn't take too long to, I don't think I took too long to write it overall, but I'm a very slow writer anyway. But there was just a lot more research than I expected, which was in itself like really exciting, but also like very intimidating because I have at least 60 plus sources on just this one thing, which is, that's a lot. You know, it's a lot of sources to have. And 55 of them are counted up, and I need to like start putting them through the video. Like, you know, I need to start like dotting them in, which is its own like process, which will probably take a day at least to like just put in all the numbers in the right time codes for like the different sources. But I've already done a lot of the sourcing beforehand. Like I know where they're supposed to go, so that's good. But yeah, it was just like this video was a lot of the issue with the Nausicaa like thing is that a lot of it is outside the realms of animation. So I've had to make a lot of stuff, like a lot of drawings, a lot of people, a lot of characters in it as well. A lot of different people we're talking about and going from there. And there's a huge period of just talking about the manga beforehand, or like the production beforehand, or like the history of these figures and people. I did rewatch part one today because I was looking through just to see if there was anything I'd change in it or like adjust. And I think so far the video is coming together quite nicely. I'm excited for people to see it, and I hope it doesn't get taken down too quickly, and that I can deal with it in a nice fashion. There's a reason I wanted to. I'm thinking of just calling it Miyazaki's magnum opus, so not putting Nausicaa in the title, which might be a bad thing, but I don't know. I think not putting Nausicaa in the title makes it harder for Ghibli's like attack lawyers to come and get it, from what I know, but I don't know. Maybe they'll get it anyway. I don't know if there'll be much utility in putting Nausicaa in the title. Maybe that will do, but I'll figure it out, I guess, as we go. Oh, it's Mexico. Am I saying... all right. Emmanuel? Is it Emmanuel? I don't know how to pronounce anything, so please, I hope I'm not too off the mark. I probably am, but yeah, I hope it goes well. I guess then, as long as you're wearing your protective glasses, apparently it'll be fine. But I hope it goes well for you. Don't lose your eyesight, all right? Don't lose your eyesight, okay? The glasses? The glasses and UV fucks everything up. Yeah, I mean, light can be quite severe, so yeah, I hope it's not too serious, like not too dangerous. As long as you be responsible, a responsible welder. Yeah, but what was I saying? Yeah, like making stuff just takes time. It's long, and you do what you can. And I mean, I was trying to. I thought I'd make sure I'd sit down for a little bit, but yeah, I'm a little bit tired to be fair, so I'm a little bit my brain's a little bit all over the place, but it usually is anyway. But yeah, like it is coming together. I'm hoping to release it and everyone's gonna like it, and hopefully it doesn't get striked straight away. Like if it can take at least a month or so to get striked, that would at least give me some time to build up some momentum for it before I have to deal with that. But yeah, I've definitely come to the conclusion though that I'm pretty sure the way I'm gonna do it is after we finish the Nausicaa video, I'm gonna start production on Arno. But I think as soon as it gets to like halfway through November or so, I think I'm gonna end up going into talking about 4C because I want to do like a month series again, because this year, because of I'll do it in the I'll talk about it in the update video, but we've been focusing on like really like I've been trying to focus on big videos this year. I want to experiment with that and see how that went. So like I guess there's been a couple of tiny little addendums, but it was like finishing up Madhouse month and then big video on like Cagliostro, and then I threw a quick video about Earwig in on the side because I had an extra week because of the collab. So that's 3 videos, and then it was Redmine, so that's 4, and then we have like 3 months, and then it's Arms, and Arms got adult restricted, which has really hurt like its performance, even though it's done very well overall, but its performance for the future is dead. So that's 5 videos. And, you know, we're like in September now, but we've only had 5 videos, which, you know, for YouTube, like that, they don't like that. So I'm hoping, yeah, I should like up the ante a bit for the next couple of months. So I think the best way of doing that would be to do a 4C month in December and just throw the videos out there. And then ideally I think in January, I might end up doing like a big version of it where I put them all together and fill in some of the blanks. That's what I'm thinking. I said it earlier, but I thought I'd say it again. That is how I'm feeling about it, and a lot of that has to do with I probably shouldn't just make 6 videos this year. That's probably not the best look. So like if we can get another like 20 videos on top of that, it would probably even out a bit better. Yeah, I mean, Nautica's pretty hot. Saltergeist, the Photoshop website, I think it's called Photop, but you could probably just type Photoshop alternative into the web and you'll find it. But I think it's called Photop, like the vegetable. Where do I get all my interviews for the videos? What do you mean interviews? You mean the animations that I do? Or like where do I get the information from? Because that's going to vary depending on the video. Oh, Solo. Rep some spaghetti for Venezuela, I guess. Oh yeah, Greg, you watched Love and Pop. I've really been wanting to see that. Pillows is great, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Arno's involvement got them in FLL. I will sit down and watch all of Arno's stuff when I start working on the production for it, but in the meantime, we'll get there. And thank you very much, Fluggy. I really appreciate that you're, long-time supporter, and that you're very patient with me, because, I'm slow at this. And this is probably my slowest year, but I feel like the successes have spoke for themselves. Like, both of the last two videos have almost got 100,000 views. That's kind of unheard of for me, like that consistently. And I feel like the Norska video is going to hit a very similar tempo. So like I do think there's a method to my madness, but it is also a little bit stressful on top of it, because like you are risking big for doing that sort of like idea. And I'm going to try and do the best of it, I guess, and focus on my health really, because of oh, the cat wants to go out. There you go. You can go. Go on then. But yeah, I'm happy with what the Nausicaa video is becoming so far. I really hope it does well, because I think it has the potential to do incredibly well. Like any of the other Miyazaki videos I've done. I don't know if it's going to do like Miyazaki problem numbers, but I would like it if it could do, at least 150k. I think it could do that. That would be great. The information can come from all over, Kami-san. I cite all my sources in the description or the pinned comment and on the screen. Usually, if there's an information on the screen, especially now, since the last couple of videos, I put a citation on the screen. If not, please check the pinned comment. My pinned comment has every piece of information in the video in it. And it will be, sometimes it's not ordered particularly well, but any interviews in my videos I mention will be in the pinned comment. I'll have a whole list of them. And some of them might be harder to get because they might be from Blu-rays or like behind the scenes stuff, but yeah. I do cite everything. Like you can find it in the pinned comment where all my sources are. And lately I've been citing them by number, so it's even easier to track them down if you look through the sources in the pinned comment. Yeah, like, share, and comment also really helps too. I mean, I know it's like ridiculous to say that stuff, but like legitimately, if you release less videos, like that's your lifeblood. Yeah, Photop is the one, definitely. Have I seen Children of the Sea? I have it on Blu-ray around here. I'm going to talk about it at some point. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about Child of the Sea when we do 4C month, because there's like, it's got a fair few scandals behind it too. But you got it, did you? Great. I'm glad. Thumbs up, Saltergeist. I hope it does you well. It's a little bit janky, but like it's free, so take it as you will. It does pretty much everything Photoshop does. So unless you're getting like really into like the specifics of Photoshop, you probably won't notice much of a difference. It's just a bit more like cumbersome to use in a way. But I think it works fine for like basic stuff. Just, if why pay hundreds if not thousands of dollars a month, well, a year for Photoshop when you can use a free version of it that's basically exactly the same, outside of being a little rougher around the edges. If you're only using it to adjust photos or, I don't know, just do some silly photo stuff, like just cropping and chopping things out and all this stuff, you don't need it. Some of my old videos have end credits stuff, but I've stopped doing it because it's a pain in the ass. Mainly because, yeah, I don't... to me, the problem with doing like an end credits situation is that you can't click on it to get to it. I don't like that. I feel like it's more annoying for people to have to like rewrite the whole thing or like pause the video and figure out and then retype it or whatever. I prefer having it in like a format where it's easily like searchable or like directly links to stuff that I'm talking about. How's it going, Alice? Hope you're well tonight, or wherever time it is. Um, I mean, Salted guys, if you're feeling like it, just comment on all the videos. You don't have to say anything fancy. I'm probably not going to check. I don't check a lot of the more old video comments because, you know, it's like a mental health trap to like try to be that online with every one of your videos. It's sometimes best just to let them breathe. But if you wanna do some commenting, it probably would help the videos for sure. I would appreciate it. Obviously on your own time. Do I have any thoughts about Naoko Yamada leaving her anime at Science Zero? Well, I don't think it's that surprising. I don't know. After a trauma like, you know, the whole studio burning down, I could see like you might want to change your pace. Because while, you know, it's more unconventional for Yamada to have stayed at the studio she did for as long as she did. That's not usually what happens. But I guess she was comfortable. But like the studio's growing now and it's become quite a competitive place. And her position could actually be better used by younger talent who could use to step up. So I could see her spreading her wings will actually probably be better for the young talent at KyoAni because it gives them more potential for like the people that she's basically trained to actually get the position to actually make something themselves and make a name for themselves. You can't keep Yamada being the one golden child. It's best to have a whole collection of them, or you end up like Studio Ghibli, right, where like all the people they've had that were like directors have sort of either they're on the way out or they're dead or they left the studio, and then you come up with a situation like, God, all right, well, who have we got left? And yeah, they got people left, but like it's a lot more difficult than if they actually had like another like group of like elite people, because a lot of the people they do have that are great leave the studio and they go and make their own careers, like Katabuchi and such, or Kosaka. Those two are excellent, absolutely excellent, and they've been working at Ghibli for a very long time, both of them at different periods. But they don't work with Ghibli anymore. They've went off and worked with different places. If that be Madhouse or Mappa or where does Kosaka work these days? Well, he worked at Madhouse for a bit. I think he's moved to a different studio, and Katabuchi, I think, worked with. Oh, I don't know where Katabuchi's been all over, I think, as well. But they both were quite Madhouse officials. I don't know if Yamada will stay at Science Zero, but she's staying for that one product she's working on, so I guess we'll see. Hmm. Oh, thank you, Alice. I appreciate anyone that. All right. Yeah, Alice, I appreciate anyone that shows my videos around, especially the Studio Arms one, because the Studio Arms one was age restricted. So YouTube doesn't show it to anyone anymore. You have to like outwardly look for it now. So like that's, again, it's hurt discoverability. So if anyone shows the Arms video, I'm always incredibly pleased because, I mean, it's done better than I could possibly imagine, but also like now it's like dead in the water. So if you know, the grassroots are the only way it's going to move. So I appreciate anyone that does. And I'm glad they like the video. I appreciate it very much. And also, Jared, thank you so much for the kind comment. Because yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work sometimes, and you know, it doesn't always pay off. But like, I'm doing the best I can. We're trying here, and hopefully, you know, things will keep going well. I don't know. Did I talk about this on stream before? You know, last time I was saying like. Recently I was like approached by like some ad agency like company for like a sponsorship, but like they're just like, it makes me like, it's very frustrating working with those kind of people who are, you know, are trying to fuck you and lie to you at the same time, to the point that you just have to like not work with them, and it's just like, nah, it's just too much, because like, you know, you in some way like working with them could lead to more money, but like I don't think it's worth the roundaboutness of it all, because of how scrubby it is to have someone try and shortchange you so bad for like that position when you're already like not doing great. But you know what you're gonna do. Yeah, kind of. I mean, I didn't see Madhouse coming back, but I feel that it's more a case of like they've gotten a couple very particular talents on their side that they've had for a bit now. That's just what they've got left. So like they have three. I think Madhouse has like three directors left, like at the studio more so, like that are like have been there for quite some time. One of them being the lady behind the world. Is it the end of the universe? Whatever it's called. And then another being the prior director of Hunter x Hunter 2011, and then third one is the One Punch director. One Punch Man's director tends to stay at Madhouse. I guess they treat him well enough that he always comes back. Recently, at least. I mean, I think he used to be Bones before then, but he's he did the Boogie Pop thing as well at there, and now he's working on Sunny Boy, which I think will go down. Definitely is like one of the most acclaimed anime of this period, I'm sure, just because it seems so fascinating in its own right. If they stick the landing, it's a really unique style, and animators on it look like they're doing a great job, and it's quite an international project too, so I can really respect it. So yeah, I think they got a couple things that have like all come together at once, and we'll see a couple more of them as the time goes, but I guess I kind of I underestimated Madhouse maybe. I thought they were out of the game for good, outside of like very pale shit. But you know, I guess it's good to be surprised sometimes. Boogie Pop OP is that what the original one or the new one? I haven't seen the new OP. Is it good? And how's it going, Lenny? But what am I saying? Probably need to get some more water in a moment. Oh dear. I'm trying to think what are we even saying anymore? Right. Is it Mote Bag? Yeah, I've from what I've seen of Sunny Boy, it's doing some very cool stuff. And I wonder if I wonder in some category if like Sunny Boy is like them kind of realizing that Madhouse's roots were in these kind of productions, and they're trying to make something that's a bit more international and like a critical piece to try and get their reputation up after the whole scandals with their overwork and stuff, and like how they kind of just stopped doing stuff for. I mean, Oko-sen was a good film. They did really well in that film, but I don't believe Kosaka's coming back to Madhouse for the next one. I heard there was I heard a rumor there was a disagreement, but they're working with a different animation studio, I think, for his next project. So it sounds like they're trying to use what they've got left as a. I don't know if Sunny Boy will ever be an incredibly popular show. Maybe it'll gain its niche over time. I do wonder what Madhouse's thinking is behind it, but there's definitely a very star-studded cast of people behind it. Nier Automata. I hope you join playing Nier. I think I've got a copy of Nier somewhere, Nier Automata, but wrist makes it's not really a viable thing. But I do like Yoko Kana, Yoko Taro. It is Yoko Taro, right? I think Yoko Taro is a very interesting man. At one point, I had the idea of making a video about him because I thought he's just like a fascinating dude. But it's probably not a topic for the channel. I don't think. I know someone else working in one too. So I don't know. I'm not like in love with the idea just because that's like 4,000 hours of gameplay I'd have to play and record too. Which yeah, no thanks. That's too much even for something that I'm interested in, for me personally. But maybe I'll talk about. It's not that I'd ever not talk about video game people. I sometimes have, but I've got to pick the right way of doing it, I'd say. Oh, and I guess you're gonna watch part two. All right, I appreciate it, Lenny. I hope you enjoyed part two. I really do. Because obviously it was like a lot of fucking work. I haven't looked through it since yesterday because my brain was fried. I think part two works. I did look through part one and I was pretty happy with it for the most part. Um, but yeah, part two is a lot more work, and I hope it all comes together in the end as a cohesive whole. I would really like that if that were to happen. Yeah, but we'll see, I guess. Yeah, Masa Morari did create the studio, but he hasn't worked there for a very long time. And I do believe he's still working on the Pluto anime. Because he's working at M2 now, I think, which is his studio. But I believe Murayama kind of sees what he's doing now and is like as his Twilight era. So he's just focusing on like working on the productions that he really wants to get done, opposed to working on like seasonal stuff. So like Pluto, the anime I know is I'm pretty sure it's being animated not in Japan. I think there's some parts that might be animated in Japan, but it's also been animated in France. So like it's a little bit more international, and they're working on obviously like I guess funding and other stuff like that. So like I believe the Pluto, whatever shape it takes in the end, if it's an ONA or a TV show or a movie, it will probably be a very fascinating piece to watch, but maybe one that like it doesn't do very well, unfortunately. But you know that's the case of how this goes. Moriyama's never been too interested in. Well, I guess ideally he wants financial successes, but a lot of the productions he's done, he's like okayed are ones where it's like, why the fuck did you okay that? I guess because he wanted to get it made. That's simply how it takes with him. He just likes something, he'll get it made. You know, chaotic good. But yeah, I think maybe COVID might have also hit the Pluto one because they started releasing clips of it, and then like COVID happened, and that might have hurt like whatever studios were working on it. It's possible. I don't know. Like it might have hurt like scheduling or funding. There's a lot of ways that could have went. Cat's back. You know where I am. You coming in? You coming in? You coming in? Oh, here you go. Come on. All right, so cat's back. Monte Cristo. The Monte Cristo. Got into. So this is an argument, right? So what is the discussion about? So an argument that old anime is just good for discussion as ongoing series, and I think that the element in unknown that's allowed for more speculation theories for ongoing series. I don't know. It depends what you define as discussion. Like I'm not really interested in like theories and speculation on ongoing series. That's not really doesn't really appeal to me. Though like I certainly does appeal to a certain subset, but like after the show's done, that stuff kind of becomes like only interested in an archival sense. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just not one of those people who would spend hours speculating on where a show's gonna go. I kind of just let it do its thing. Because I feel that sometimes if you get a little too close into it and you start speculating about where something goes and it doesn't go where you want it to go, you seem to have a very, you might have a mired perspective on the show as a whole because, it didn't do what you wanted it to do. Maybe it could go the other way and it does exactly something that's so beyond what you wanted to do that may make it like really impactful. But yeah, I guess, I think I think in itself, like discussions and speculation and theory, especially in the anime community, is in itself is the niche of a niche. Thoughts on a film that doesn't exist yet? I have no idea. I don't know, Anime King. I can't help you there. Yeah, I don't know if Natsume always has leeway because I think he was compromised in the Boogie Pop situation by the author. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's necessarily true though, but that's what I've heard off the cuff that like there was some struggles with the Boogie Pop production. I think it was in design, like they had to change some designs, and he was work. I think that was more of a struggle than the One Punch Man situation. But I do believe he's kind of in the good books with Madhouse. Watanabe is like good for like the West, I guess, but he's not exactly like a hit maker. He's had like one hit, like one proper hit, and then everything else is debatable. But like, I'm not going to say no to Watanabe. Obviously, like he's just a music coordinator, but like he's great at doing that. So like, I'm sure the music is wonderful. Yeah, there's like one clip of the Pluto anime on Twitter. I think that's probably from one of the animators. Yeah, she might be hungry. Well, if she's hungry, she shouldn't be in this room because there's no food up here. She's just saying hello. Usually, she wants to know where I am. Like she makes a little noise, like a growl noise when she figures out where I am. She makes the same noise every time when she figures out, like, oh, that's where you are. So dumb. She's a dumb baby. The clip of Pluto, I'm pretty sure was on Twitter. I think one of the animators posted it, like it was off of TV, so they just posted it on that. I guess it was like from the camera. They just recorded the screen of like one of the clips. You could probably find it on YouTube. Question of the week: is Arno a hack? What is a hack? How do we define what a hack is? I mean, I think Arno's a very prolific and interesting director in his own right. But what makes someone a hack director opposed to like a visionary director or a successful director or a blockbuster director? How does one become a hack? Avare? Is it Senso? Senso? Senso. I'm kind of curious here. What do you think he wrote that you don't like? Like, what did he write that has made you so against his writing? I like Yuasa, but I don't spend too much time watching his newer stuff. I've seen some of the older Yuasa stuff for sure. I mean, I thought it was very interesting watching Yuasa's like rise to fame in the early 2000s. Like one of his first projects is Yamada's at Ghibli, and then well, he's done some stuff before then. That was like one of his first bigger projects, and then you start seeing him working on um, like Manglobe or different like Watanabe shows as like one of the key animators, and then eventually he gets to direct an episode here and there of bits and pieces, or just the animation direction for a thing. And then slowly you start seeing, oh, okay, well, Madhouse is now giving him a bunch of products to work on, like actual IPs like Kaiba, and then eventually he's doing like things like Ping Pong, and then from there he hits Giant with like Crybaby. Emmanuel. Sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. But Emmanuel, when do you think Christian Nolan became a hack, though? At what point did Christian Nolan become a hack? Was he always a hack, or where would you put the split line? Because it seems like he kind of always does what he wants, but I guess it may vary. Like I like Memento for sure, and some of the Dark Knight films. And when I was younger, I was a big fan of Nolan. But as I've gotten older, I've become very disassociated with his style. It's very mechanical a lot of the times. Rebuilds are a mess. Did he write the rebuilds? I mean, A 1.0. Okay, let's look at the. I'm gonna look at this. I guess he did the screenplay for the first one. Did he do the screenplay for all of them? I mean, did he do the screenplay for other films that aren't this one though? I mean, he's worked with. I mean, to be fair, well, he's writing the new he wrote the screenplay for the new Ultraman film, so we'll see how that goes. Kesh, I'm not too familiar with Ergo Proxy. I know the director, though I never sat down and watched it myself. The third Batman movie? Is the third Batman movie that drastically different than the other ones, though, really? Is it, really? Maybe in some ways? I don't know. Like, well, that's like 2012, is it? I don't know. That was just after Inception, right? So 2011, 2012. I mean, Bane is very funny though. Come on, Bane is very funny. I don't know. Like, I kind of lost interest around that period, but I think it's more the age I became, more so than I think it's Nolan's films. Like, I mean, I really didn't like Interstellar. I never watched Dunkirk, and Tenet. I wasn't gonna fucking watch it. And I don't know if he's made anything else since those, but like, yeah, I'm just kind of disassociated with the whole thing. But then again, I'm kind of disassociated with some of his older films too. Like, I was never a huge fan of like Prestige or Insomnia. What else did he do? His first film's kind of interesting, and I like Memento. And like Batman Begins, Dark Knight. I haven't seen Inception since it was in the cinemas, so I can't really speak for if I actually care for that one or not. It's interesting ideas, though, I guess, in some of them. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, a lot of directors have standardized formulas for filmmaking. I don't think it's particularly new to do that. It's actually very good for productions to know what you're doing. But I guess Nolan just wants to make a very specific type of film, and he does that. Though I suppose in a lot of cases, the films he makes are technically originals. Outside of Batman, I think everything he's made is like his own original concept, you know. And you know, fair to him, I guess. Okay, Kami-san, you saw the clip? I'm glad you like it then. Good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd rather they don't continue the manga, the Berserk manga. I know they've sort of hit what they think is going to be the ending, but we don't know Monte Cristo. I would rather they leave it be, in a way, just because I feel there's not much utility in it continuing a series that's beyond the point that we can continue it. Oh, okay, that didn't work. Was it? Oh, okay, message retract. Whoop. You either die in Memento or live long enough to become Tenant. I mean, yeah, that's nice, Mecha J. Mecha J, that's very nice. That's a nice poetic end to it. Yeah, I've heard about Ergo Proxy, because Ergo Proxy was big when I was a kid. I just never saw it. Maybe one day. I don't know. Like, I don't know how I'd approach it, but you know, it could be an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, Abdi, I feel that sometimes, like, you know, the idea of following a story 100% the first time through is kind of like not worth it. You don't need to do that. You can just kind of experience as we go. Derrida, yeah. Well, I mean, no, I don't think most people are reading French philosophers off the top of their head. Damn, I really am a water. I probably need more. Why shouldn't Berserk be continued? Why would you finish something that isn't yours? Like, if all right, so if Mirai was not dead, right, and then suddenly out of nowhere, Mirai drops Berserk, and then someone else picked it up. Say, for example, like I don't know, it's just some random guy. Like, he's like, oh, here's my brother, me, Mirai. I don't want to make Berserk anymore, but my brother's gonna finish it for me. Would you be happy with that? Would you want that to happen? Because that's kind of what you're asking for when someone passes away. It's just like, this random person's going to finish it? like a completely different person, completely different direction, completely different ideas, comes out of nowhere, and the version that you once had no longer exists. Is that really more advantageous than just kind of letting it be? I feel like the only reason to continue it would be like a monetary one at that point. I mean, Ergo Proxy was a Manglove show, if I remember right, and Manglove was created exclusively at first to create original shows, because Manglove also did Shampoo, if I remember right. Oh. Yeah, allusions to Plato, well, like the cave and all that, is it? I mean, I've heard it wasn't Duncalk shot on like IMAX or something, so it was probably one of those theater experiences. But like, yeah, I don't know. Those kind of war films don't really do much for me. I mean, Senso, it would probably be true that he would have more creative control on the rebuilds because he self-financed them. So yeah, he would have more than a TV show. And this idea, the problem here, Senso, that you're having is this idea of he didn't write the best episodes of Ava. That's not how TV shows are written. TV shows in Japan are not written like that. They're written in a boardroom with a bunch of people who come together. Arno would be the director, and if he has any screen credits for it, he would be there, and or it would be the person who's the head writer who will be consulting each of those members, and they'll talk together and they'll chat, and there'll be like an idea of where the show's going to be. And then after a while, they'll have a bullet point list that will come out from talking about, all right, together, what's this episode going to be like? What's going to happen in it? And then when they have the conception, the structure of that episode, then a writer is then taking that piece and then they fill in the blanks. But I don't know 100% how the writing room went, but I think it's kind of irrelevant to be like, this person wrote the best episodes, thus Arno has nothing to do with it. It's just, yeah, productions tend to be a collaborative experience. I don't think it should really be considered down to this idea of this person's actually the reason it's good. That's not how it goes. It's not how it's done, and that's especially not how it's done in anime, when everything is very collective. Especially the writing. His best films are novel adaptations. I mean, that's obviously going to be a part of conjecture as well. Like, what films are we talking about? The newer Dune books aren't that popular, because aren't they the ones done by his son? The newer Dune books? I think most people have only read the first Dune anyway. I don't think they continued on afterwards. Apparently that's where it gets really wacky. I can't say I've heard of Twinny Witches though, whoever said that. Kesh? Yeah, I mean, well, the name of statues is obviously going to be a side thing of anyway a situation. It's more of a probably more of like a nod, right? And it's going to be about the broader stuff. Yeah, I mean, Manglobe stopped doing adaptations for a long time when it didn't become financially viable anymore. Monte Cristo, this is a really weird conversation to have. Where did you get this information that Mirai left notes about the story and conclusion? You're going to have to give me a citation for that because I haven't heard anything about this. And even if that's the case, it's up to Mirai's family to choose if the story continues or not. Not up to you, as the viewer, to understand if that is. Because at the same time, like, the people who worked with Mirai for years, they might be able to finish the story for sure, but, like, do they want to finish the story? Is that something they want to actually do? Do they want to continue it? Do they want that pressure? Is that something they want to actually figure out? Because simply being the assistant or working on something or being part of the production is not the same as being the production. Like, I have no doubt they can draw it, but do they want to? And again, like, do the family want to? Ultimately, this is about the intent of the people in control. It has nothing to do with us. Respect the dead. I probably need to get some more water. I was getting a little dry. Okay, where are we at? Yeah, maybe one day I'll watch Ergo Proxy for real. But I don't know. Did they ever finish that? Did they ever get that in like HD? So Ergo Proxy ever released on HD? I think someone asked me before, and I think it was, which is pricey if I remember right. Yeah, thematically relevant names make sense. I mean, Egbert and Felicia could be cool names too. Alright, then, so I appreciate the comments. But yeah, I mean, not every director... I think sometimes the issue for a director, at least this is the way I would look at it from my own perspective, is like, writing and directing something at the same time is a lot of fucking work. So, like, I would honestly be more comfortable with someone like that I trust writing it and me bringing input to them than me having to write and direct something at the same time, as well as doing all the other stops that a director needs to do, because it's a lot of work. So, yeah, it can be complicated, for sure. Though I guess it depends if, if anyone else can get the story quite where you want it to be. So, yeah, it comes to territory. Yeah, I need to get some more water. Aren't sponsors? Water should sponsor me, that's true. They should be public water. The public water fund should start funding my videos. That's what they should do. I'm the king of drinking water. I would simp for water every day. You need it to live. All right. I filled some up with the tap. Let it drain for a little bit. Let it drain, and we'll see where it goes. Right, now where were we? Yeah, I've heard it's on Netflix somewhere. I don't know. I don't have time to. I say this, but I wouldn't watch it anytime soon. I don't have time to be doing it unless it came up in some way. I probably wouldn't. I got too much other stuff that I've bought and never watched. Something happened similar between Familiar of Zero Light novels. The author died of cancer. Yeah, I mean, I'm unfortunately, I don't know. I'm kind of of the perspective that, like, if the creator dies, that you probably should just leave it be. I don't know, out of respect, unless they specifically want you to finish it, because at the end of the day, it's their work. I don't know. I always feel like the idea of finishing something post someone's passing is always a bit of a cursed experience, because you're always going to be in like a compromised position. There's no ideal product that can come out of it in the end. In Germany, the Ergo Proxy Blu-ray is cheap. The fourth disc is the same episodes as the third, which is funny. Oh, do they just give you the wrong discs then? Or they just mess up the disc? They not give you the whole show? I don't know what's Dokuyose? What's that? Was like a movie, is it? Not really familiar with it, I'm afraid. It's a boy love show, is it? It's an hour long. That's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, comments. I generally agree with that. You know, if they've got some archives of stuff, I'm not gonna say no. If you want to see some of that, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about the Satoshi Kon situation. Well, like, I'm not really a huge fan of the idea of actually finishing his film at all. I know that I think Murayama wants to just redo it, just like the idea and the concept, and just give it to a different directive, and then let them do what they want with it, which I think would probably be the best alternative. But I would like to see all the stuff they finished for sure, and maybe even if they add the music and sound to it in some form, I would like to see that for sure. Just for the curiosities of it, but I'm not really huge on the idea of someone finishing it. So all episodes are on 1 to 3 discs. The fourth disc is completely redundant. Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, at least it's cheap. Hmm. Ogo proxy playlist on YouTube. I don't know if I'd want to watch an anime on YouTube. Oh, fucking hell's that? Oh, sorry, my weird, my fucking antivirus is popping up in front of my face. I don't know what it's doing that for. Not because it's a virus or anything. It's just randomly. Okay. But yeah, God, what were we even talking about for a second? I've lost my train of thought again. What time is it, everyone? Let me find out what the time is, because I'll probably have to put some dinner on soon. All right. In half an hour, I'm probably going to put some dinner on. That's how it's going to be. And then when that's cooked, I'll probably have to end the stream. But, yeah. What were we saying? Be pretty... Here we all are, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know so much about dating sim games. Though I assume we were talking about the A1 Picture film, are we? 3 a.m. Oh, it's getting late there. 3 a.m. Jesus Christ. But yeah, look forward to talking about Studio 4C. They are a very interesting studio. I definitely want to learn more about them. But they obviously have like some messy history there. A lot of recently they've spent quite a bit of time working with French studios. I'm kind of curious if there's any like interviews with the French studios they've been working with. I think they're going to release a movie this year too. I'm just about to. Oh, I must be tired. Jesus Christ. 1 a.m. Jeez. Yeah, well, I won't be going too much longer. Hmm. Yeah, they're definitely an interesting studio outside of the whole, abusing staff members. But I guess that's all these studios, which is unfortunate. Only 4:30, eh? Subconsciously pressuring. I will end the stream when I want to. I'll end the stream when I'm ready. That's how it'll be. We'll go with it. And yeah, I mean, Emmanuel, I hope that Watanabe lives to be a good age as well. I hope he's living a healthy diet. Oh, okay, come on to Christopher. I don't really care. Whatever his name is, I don't know. It's late. My brain is fried. If his name is the Miura. Sure. Yeah, Morimoto. I don't know what he's worked on recently. I know his music videos are very interesting. Talking about 4C, I don't know if I'll be able to do it in the month, but I would really like to have sections in the video which are like the games of 4C, the music videos of 4C, and the shorts of 4C, where I can talk about. Oh, then maybe like the exports, like the animation, the commissions. I don't know what I'd call it, but like the stuff they've done for like other companies, like for like American things like Cartoon Network, it'd be Thundercats and Justice League things or whatever. That stuff. I'd be fascinated to have those sections, but I don't know if I'd have time to do them in the actual month. So they might end up being like an addendum in a full video. But yeah, 4C at least has a unique vision to itself. Yeah, MFKC was a joint French production. I think their new film is also. I'd have to look. It'd be interesting. I think for me at least, it'd probably be easier to find information on the French side than the Japanese usually. So we'll see how that goes. Leonard's. I don't really like that idea of it. Like everyone in Japan that isn't Kyoto Anime abuses staff members. I don't think it's necessarily that case. I mean, the industry is inherent with abuse, but I don't want to be like that. Only seems to excuse it because I think there are definitely other studios that have had better work relationships. It's not just KyoAni. I mean, at one time, Science Zero was also given good praise for it until it came out that there's actually a bunch of abuse for staff when they get close to crunch, and they've been taking on too many projects lately, so it's led to a much more destructive environment. And of course, even like Studio Ghibli has its problems, but like generally, I think that the crunch that the rest of the industry sees is not quite the same there. Especially recently when they don't have release dates really set in stone anymore because they don't need to. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't put too much hope on KyoAni like that because like while KyoAni does have a good reputation, like it could always fall apart. Don't put too much hype on the one golden child. Oh yeah, Hatchin. Yeah, Hatchin's good. I've seen Hatchin. All right, where are we at? Yeah, the first show from Yamato, is it Yamato? The protege of Watanabe. Yeah, I think Hatchin's very cool. But I mean, the problem with it is cash. It depends who we're talking about because saying Studio Trigger is cool. I don't know. I've heard ups and downs of Trigger. I heard that like with I've heard from other animators that on Premiere, is it Premiere that they like didn't make enough money, so they just didn't pay. There's like several animators who just didn't get paid because the film didn't make enough money to like back its budget. So yeah, there was just a bunch of staff members who didn't get paid for it, which is like completely fucked up. That's basically just slave labor. It's like, oh, okay, well we don't have enough money to pay you. Sorry. It's like, I don't know. I mean, Bones has a pretty good reputation. Like Bones generally, like you'll see in interviews that talk about it. Like as a studio, Bones has became more predominant. They've generally upped the pay for their staff members as well. I've only heard good things about Bones. And Madhouse used to be a really nice place to work for people. You hear like people talk about it back in the like the mid to 2000s, like when Con was there. They talk about how like it was such a good environment for people to work in, and that like Con was very, very he was like very adamant about like good work environment. I think that kind of changed over time after like Murayama left, but what can you do? Yeah, not the literal sea. Not the literal sea people, yeah. How did I make connections with animators and people that work in anime? I don't know, like I sit down and stream and some of them talk to me or some of them follow me, I don't know. It's usually how it goes. Sometimes some people speak English. That's how it is. Sometimes I end up, friend of a friend. Though people, well, like I used to be, well, I guess still. I mean, I have a background in illustration stuff, so I know animators and I know people who work in and out of places. So, like, yeah, I mean, it's just like part of being in the creative sphere. Can't animators pay for sue trigger for non-payment? I mean, if they never want to work in the industry again, sure, yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, it might be a money situation too, because you need lawyers, and obviously, like, yeah, you're gonna need, like, well, here's how it went with, like, all right, so with Children of the Sea, right? There was a big controversy with Children of the Sea because there was one particular animator who sued. He attempted to sue 4C for not paying like huge amounts of overtime and hours and other stuff that he's supposed to get paid for. And he had like done hundreds of hours a month that were just not getting paid. And he said he wasn't the only one. And he was part of a union, so he was able to go to a union, but the union didn't have any like power at all. The union then crowdfunded the money for a lawyer, which was like 4 grand or something in Japan. I don't know how much it was. I think that was like the beginning of a lawyer trial, right? And when that happened and they got a lawyer together, 4C magically then paid the man, and I think they didn't want the dirty laundry of going through a whole investigation happening. But like, yeah, it's a lot to do that, and I don't know. Maybe they got paid later, like a much later date. But yeah, it's easier said than done, I suppose. If you want to continue working in the industry, like suing people is probably not a good way about doing it, unless you have alternative means. That's unfortunately the reality of the situation. It's not great. I mean, yeah, I mean, saying if it was that easy just to make a union and be part of it, like everyone would do it, right? But it's more complicated than that because your union has to have power and like president, and the unions in like America are not the same as the unions in Japan. Like the rules are quite different, and the way that like labor laws changed in Japan are also different. So as you can see, like yeah, the people who are part of unions in Japan and animators literally have to get their group has to like crowdfund their expenses. They're not exactly of any power and provision. And yeah, I mean the other difference will obviously be that like a lot of animators in like the industry in Japan are freelancers, and freelancers don't really have any power. Like if you're a salary worker, it can be quite different, but if you're a freelancer, your position is very much up in the air. Like it's always going to be like all around when you're a freelancer. That's obviously a lot more difficult because freelancers can't really. It's a bit harder to go on strike when you're a freelancer. Just saying, that's just not working. Yeah, and US has definitely got more suing culture for sure. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good thing to sue for, but like at the same time, doing it might be a different story. Also, suing people is not an ideal way of actually trying to, unless you just want justice, because like suing people is incredibly expensive. It takes a lot of time. So like, you really willing to do that? Like, it's like, like, how are you gonna pay for all that? What if you lose, or what? Well, what if you become bankrupt during the production, the development of the lawsuit over the next couple of years? I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but like, there's a lot of factors there for why someone might not do it, especially if they want to keep working in the industry. When is the 4C video coming out? I don't know. Calm me, son. Slow down. I haven't even finished the video I'm working on now. 4C stuff will probably come out in December. That's like ad revenues at the height. So it seems to me like as soon as I finish this block of videos, I'll probably start working on Arno, and then at a certain point I'll go on hiatus for the Arno video. I'll do like the first chunk of it, of like research or whatever, and then I'll move into starting the fast production of just putting together videos real quick for the depending on how much stuff came out of 4C, I'll see if I can get a video out every day or 2 days for 4C. I'm not sure how many movies they've done, because I really want to cover the movies, but like, yeah, if I can get those little segments done, that would be good. And then later on, I'll see if I can turn it into something bigger. So yeah, this for the 4C videos, I guess. Like, I'll probably do it 2 ways. I feel that with YouTube, that the best game would be to do it both ways. So to do separate videos in December as like part of a marathon, and then like fix them all together and do a bit more with them in January to like finish up the video. So that then it becomes a full thing. Because in the end of the day, YouTube is about discovery, and it will be very risky for me to make a giant video on 4C and expect people to watch it, because I don't think they will. So it would probably be easier for me to like put out all those videos as like a shotgun blast, and then link when it's finished the final version in each of them. I'm not reading any mangas right now. I don't really have the time, but I do have mangas on my shelf. I probably should be. Yeah, I mean, in-betweens done probably by freelancers or different countries, like of Philippines, South Korea, etc. A lot of different countries will work on things, and usually because their labor laws are less strict or they get paid less, etc. How is it legal to blackmail a person from suing by not allowing them to work in the industry? It's called coercion. Coercion, yeah. I don't know if it would be legal, but like it happens. It happens in a lot of industries. I mean, you have to prove they blacklisted you first, right? But even Disney had to deal with that, you know? Well, Disney did it. Walt Disney. Well, because all the Disney animators went on union, like they went on strike in like, I think it was just after Snow White came out, I believe. They all went on strike, and a lot of them were fired, and certain ones were definitely blacklisted for sure. And some of them were just he just sent he accused them of being communists, and they got like, you know, taken in by the government or whatever. And I believe Babbitt, I think his name's Babbitt, he was like the best paid animator at Disney. He had to sue Disney to get a job back with them because they didn't want to rehire him. And I think the case was dropped ultimately, and they let him come back, but he didn't stay long because, you know, when a company won't let you come back and you have to sue them, it probably leads to a sour environment between you and them, which will never really be repaired. But yeah, this is how coercion works. This is how these sort of businesses work. I don't think it's unique to animation. Again with Cello there, like union working it would be good, but at the same time, if you're all freelancers, being a union doesn't really work. If like everyone that you get, if you're a salary worker, yes, but if you're freelancers, I don't think you really have the power of. I don't know if the union can do much for a freelancer, quite frankly, a lot of the time. Knowing as someone who has been a freelancer. Yeah, I mean, implied as well. You know, the implication is clear. I guess it's possible, Kami-san, for anything to get a good anime adaptation. If it will, is a different story. How you prove they have you on a blacklist? Well, that's the magic of it. You're not able to. Because I don't know, there might. I don't know if there's going to be literally a blacklist. I don't know if they're going to have a piece of paper that's like, don't work with these people. I don't think that's probably going to happen. It's probably going to go around the industry that you sued the studio you worked for, and then people just won't want to hire you. I think that's how it will go. It will be like, unless they really need animators, they might just be like, yeah, but that person did sue last time when that thing happened. That happens all the time. So maybe we don't want to work with that one. But I think that's how it goes more so. It's like, you know, you get a reputation. I mean, yeah, the thing with adaptations as well, all adaptations are probably going to be a miracle in the works. If we're talking about like, yeah, just making any animation is like a nightmare. So like getting a good one and one that's an adaptation at that to work is his own like struggle. Yeah, most creative industries are fueled by freelancers, and freelancers don't have a lot of power, unfortunately. Because as a freelancer, you don't have the benefits of a wage employee, right? So like if you get fired as a freelancer, like a lot of the time, there's not really much you can do. That's like the issue of being a freelancer. Like all right, when I was in university, right, they had a lot of you'll hear a lot of stories like this, and this is how it goes, right? Where like they'll bring in freelancers and they'll say like, oh yeah, I worked for a company and they just didn't pay me. And you hear that and you're like, well, how does that happen? How does a company just not pay you? Especially if it's like a big company, or they don't pay you for months at an end. And they're like, why, what is going on here? And then you realize that like sometimes all you can really do is you can keep pushing them, but like not a lot you can really do, because if you did a job for like 200 quid for this company, you did 250, 200 quid, maybe whatever, like 300, whatever the job was. Like it's a small job. You do your illustration, you do your contract, whatever, and then you don't get paid. Are you gonna hire a lawyer for thousands of pounds to try and get 200 quid back? You'll be out of money that you don't have, and you'll be losing time to work on different projects. So like a lot of the time, realistically, like it's just not viable to like be going around suing people. And even if you are like part of something like I think there's a company I used to be part of, I think it's called the Associations of Illustrators, and like even with them, like a lot of the times what they could do is just like push and barge and like nudge at the company. There wasn't like a lot they could do when you were a freelancer position. It's really not that easy. And sometimes you will get paid, but much later, because I hear it's something to do with like holding out and paying people for interest and money and all this other stuff about like money coming in and out of a company. But that can just happen, and like sometimes you got to take on the chin, I guess, unless you get paid up front. Is it possible to sue anonymously? No, of course not. Of course it's not. What the fuck? No, that's not how it works. As far as I know, like you all the legal papers are like in front of the court. I mean, you could be a witness anonymously, maybe, but you can't sue people without telling them who you are. Because like usually a court document has like the name, the address of the person, and the people like that are being sued. That all becomes like public situations. You can't just like if you could sue people anonymously, that'd be a fucking nightmare. Jesus Christ, that's such an exploitable task. What's the other thing? Yeah, it's quite a pickle during 2020 because everyone is a freelancer. Yeah, that can be an issue. Like I think a lot of my friends who were in the freelance certainly felt the struggle, not in the anime industry, but like outside of it as a freelancer in the industry, because companies were less likely to be hiring people during the like breaks of the pandemic because less productions that would need artists were happening. I mean, there should be a better system for sure, but like, I mean, I'm kind of in the belief now that you will never reform that system, like the system to work for everyone. You would probably have to just let it crumble and make a new one. I don't really believe there is any. I don't believe you can reform the anime industry into like a better system in like a meaningful way. And maybe in like individual cases, but I think in a meaningful way, you might as well just let it burn. My shirt says "fuck racism." It's from No More Heroes 3, but it's a fun shirt to wear. I like it. Yeah, a lot of humiliation kind of comes from being a freelancer. Um, what? I don't know. What were we saying? Yeah, freelancing anywhere can be pretty harsh, and I think if you have a bit more of a name, like if you become a bit more well known, there's ways of doing stuff. I mean, you can shame people perhaps into helping like maybe making the difference, but yeah, it's a bit of a mess. Yeah, gig economies are really harsh. Monte Crispr, that quote about in some cases that you can do lawsuits anomaly. Do you know that applies to Japan though? Because legal systems around the world vary from place to place. And like you're saying, in some situations, I don't think the situation you're talking about, in terms of like not getting paid, is ever going to be anonymous because that company needs to pay you. You can't be anonymous. They have to put that money in your bank account. I don't think that quite works. Yeah, and you'd also need to testify, and yeah, you also need to get paid in the end by the company, so they'd know at the end they will know who you are. Like that money has to go, unless they're going to pay the court and the court's going to pay you. I don't know. I feel like this is like a very long-winded process where I don't really believe it's going to go that way. Marshmallows. I mean, I'm not all right, guys. To be clear, metaphorically, right? Metaphorically, we're not literally burning down buildings. Metaphorically, the system in itself is probably beyond repair, and also at the breaking point. Yeah, and like Kesh is saying, cases like, well, again, this is like American shit, right? Witness protection programs, an American thing. So yeah, like it's probably best not to be using the American legal system to try and decipher what you should be doing in the Japanese one, because it's completely different things. Um, views. It's probably animators. I think that they've literally done the studies that I'm pretty sure animators get more abuse because animators get paid far worse than game developers do. Though of course there are positions in game industry where you don't get paid as much. But like if you're talking about like the game industry has a lot more money. This is something you'll probably learn because some of the best animators tend to end up working in the game industry because they get paid better and they get treated better. Like they'll do like cutscenes or little bits and pieces for games and such, and it's like easier gigs with better money and better time schedules because games take a long time to make and they don't really get scheduled to release weekly. So yeah, I would generally say that from my experience, it seems like it's animators that get treated worse because they also have like the terrible working conditions on top of it in terms of like just poor pay. Where like the people who get crunch hours in video games tend to like if they're salary workers, they're going to get paid quite well in comparison. Um, but yeah, I mean it can vary as well, obviously from place to place because maybe some animators get treated better than others. Depends where you're working, depends what you're doing. Some companies get some video game companies treat their staff better than others. Kawaii Booty. Oh my god, the fucking king. The king is back. Kawaii Booty Boy 9000. I did not read the latest chapter of Berserk. I'm very much behind, but maybe I'll get to it one day. It sounds pretty sad. Yeah, I mean, game devs. I don't doubt game devs get treated poorly. I know they do for a fact. It's pretty horrible. And the thing with game devs is that a lot of them, especially in America, they could totally unionize and they could make the difference. In Japan, and again, it's a completely different situation. But American game developers and European ones especially, could unionize right now if they wanted to. Just saying, like especially if you were like in Germany, let's say, because there's like huge unions in Germany. Um, in Japan, that's like a different effect because of the history of unions. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, I don't know if anyone in the chat knows this, but in Japan, there's a 99% conviction rate because usually they just will convict people, and to fight, you have to fight for the 1%. Unless the situation is sexual assault, then you can get away for free pretty easily. That's the one situation, but usually it's because people will like strong arm witnesses to not testify or like to drop cases for sexual assault and other factors. But yeah, like Japan's legal system is very unethical, um, and is very much guilty until proven innocent. Yeah, I mean, the monetary situation for game developers is better, and perhaps there's more options in games because, like I said, games have the potential to make a lot more money than anime does. So, like, you could always go off and make your own studio, I guess, if you really want. If you want to make an indie game, so I mean, that's more viable than making independent anime because of the structures that be, um, and also that, like, yeah, you're always gonna be in high demand as a game developer. Uh, but there's game development companies all over the world too that you could work for. Like you could work all over the world to be in the game industry in a way that like technically you can do that for anime, but from a freelance perspective, because like not every country in the world is making anime. So yeah, it's complicated. Still there's another 9,000. I mean it's on the dot. Mortgage devs are really complicated companies to work in. Is that mortgage or mog? What is a mortgage? Kame-san says the biggest problem is Japan encourages work culture a lot, like the pledge about the overwork culture every day. Kame-san, it is true that there is definitely a culture of overwork in Japan, but I don't think it's unique to Japan. I think that culture actually exists in a lot of places. It may be more severe in some ways in Japan, considering they have a word for overwork death, which is karoshi. But I don't believe that the crunch culture, as we'd call it, is actually unique to Japan in any way. I think it is a devious exploit from the systems that be. And the video game industry around the world is definitely an infamous of that. And generally, anyone who works in creative fields would know the power and destructive force that is crunch because it's been around for a long time. And there's a lot of industries that are like that. I mean, if you ever like think about the film industry for one factor, like I know people don't like to look at it this way, but like yeah, in the film industry, you work 14-hour days, especially, and if you're not like a prestige member, like that can be really a lot. That's why unions are like really big deal in Hollywood. But like yeah, like your days can be like really fucking extreme in like a situation where you're like on set for like 14 hours straight, and then you have to go home to get sleep for like a couple hours to then come back to do 14 hours again, and like what you're working at when you're doing that, and you know it's a lot going on there. Like these industries really do take it out of you. I mean, have you ever heard about people working on TV shows? They say it's fucking insane, and those people get paid well usually. Well, not all of them, but like you know, still it's like really demanding work. But we're doing all right, I think. Oh, okay. Gotcha games for mobile is Mobage. I think working on gotcha games actually pays alright, doesn't it? That's what I've heard at least. It's probably a little bit easier, but yeah, I don't know, there's a lot to it. Working is yeah, labor is definitely suffering. There's a game called Karoshi. Jesus Christ, that's bleak. Yeah, I mean, it would be a side effect of capitalism for sure. Like, this is just a side effect of how these systems work. It's not like Japan is unique in this factor. It happens everywhere. Though, like, there was talk that Japan was thinking of making, because of their, obviously, Japan has a very bad reputation with it. There has been talk about Japan creating a 4-day, like, work week. But that will only affect salary workers. See, here's the issue, right? When you have a gig economy, right? So like that you know a 4-day work week for like a salary worker is great because I mean that's like less work to do, but then it depends like what's expected of them still. Like are they working 4 days but then they have to go home and then do the extra work they usually be expected to do? So there's like a lot of factors how this can affect things. But like, yeah, if you're a freelancer, you still need to. You don't work. This is the thing. Like, a freelancer doesn't work on a 42-hour. Like, say for example, as far as I know, in England, it's usually like it's not good. It's usually like illegal to work more than 42 hours. I think it is a week. I think that's the English standard. But like, obviously, there's ways around that. But if you're a freelancer, those rules don't apply because you work your own hours. You're like your own boss. So like, a freelancer doesn't can't like be like, oh, sorry, I've worked 42 hours this week. I can't. You know, you got to. You do the jobs you have to get paid. So yeah, this is where it gets complicated, because like you could have you could mandate a 4-day work week, but that will only affect salary workers. It doesn't affect the freelancers we're talking about right now. Oh, sorry, my boy Salo. It sounds like Venezuela's having a hard time. I hope you can get out of it someday. Green Apostle, primitivist stuff is cringe, and lame. That's all I'm gonna say. If you want to be a monkey, go into the jungle yourself right now. But I don't know. It seems kind of ridiculous for you to like preach that when you're in a YouTube chat. Snapped at an office in 2018. 24 hours later, I'm no longer employed. My boss lost. Yeah, I could see that. Rest in peace. Never forgetting. The best lucrative way in the creative industry is not safe for work. That is absolutely 100% true. I have friends who work in the not safe for work area when it comes to like art. It pays very well. Like they do okay. But like obviously like it's a very particular field and that has its own complications for sure. You know, like when if we got to pay the bills, you have to do maybe some inflation or something. It's it's definitely a late stage capitalism kind of horror show in its own way. I mean, some people like working on that stuff, which is perfectly fair. Like, I have nothing against not safe for work. I respect the hell out of it. But like, I know from talking to my friends that it can be like, it can be a little crushing. Um, the reason that leftists aren't primitives, or people on the left aren't primitives, because that would be really dumb. I don't know. Do you want to go back to being a caveman? I don't know. That's silly. I mean, if you want to do it, you can do it right now. But yeah, it's not a good idea. Going back to the point when dysentery is a serious issue and you're starved to death, sounds like a great time. Because labor farming, like old school farming, is backbreaking labor, in its own right, and yeah, it's a different kind of bad. I mean, yes, you can do it right now, but there is obviously going to be complications in the situation. But like, I don't know what and what situation would it be easier to do it than right now? Like, I mean, you're obviously going to need some money to begin with, but like, I don't know. I don't know what you want to come out of this. I don't see how this is a realistic proposition in any situation. Unless what do you want society to just collapse so you can just have an excuse to be a primitivist without having to worry about being on private land or something? I mean, if you can't do it right now, then why are you preaching the power of primitivism if it's so good? If you think that being an individual that hunts for his tribe is amazing, then go do it. Practice what you preach, my friend. See how it goes. Well, Green Apostle. The reason I brought up farming is because it's the same process that you have to like work to survive, and that like hunter gatherers developed towards agriculture. That's what they did. That's what happened. But like that's the application of it. That it's backbreaking work and it's really hard. If you want to try, I feel this must be a meme, right? There's no way someone can be seriously think this way. Practice what you preach. Stop using the products of capitalists. Okay, go do it, my friend. Do it right now. Go on. Stop using YouTube right now and leave. Go find your farm. Sorry, not your farm. Your stick. Yeah, commissions aren't wages, so that you don't have to have fixed income. What makes it really hard is the dry spell. Yeah, and I think the other difference is how much you get paid. Because obviously, like if you start becoming like more well known, you can get more better commissions for sure. But yeah, like the positions where you don't have money is its own problem. Yeah, freelance is harsh. Romeo and Black Brothers, eh? Is Romeo and Black Brothers anything to do with Romeo and Juliet, or is it completely separate? All right. Sorry. No, where the fuck? Oh god, what time is it now? Okay. Everyone, I need to go downstairs and put some food on the old oven. I mean, I can't ignore them, but it is fucking funny. Come on, guys, it is fucking funny. Oh my fucking god, that's so good. Fucking monkey man in the chat. Fucking, that's so good. Alright. Or about chimney sweeps in Milan. That's pretty cool. Yeah, freelancing is definitely a market hellhole. I can agree with that. Nepotism is definitely a factor, but I think it's a factor in a lot of industries, to be fair. Almost complete Noska video. Yeah. Let's see, what were we saying? The complete, yeah. Oshan, is it? Oshan? Yeah, the video's coming together. We're 28 minutes in it. We have 2 parts done. But there's a third part that needs to be done. That's probably going to be a lot shorter. But yeah, it's coming together. Hopefully by the end of September. I'm waiting on a guest appearance in the video to be done. And then I need to just finish up like the outro and then like the summary. I guess it's kind of like there'll be their section and then I need to like fill that up with the next little bit and then we end it. What is Jahi? Oh yeah, actually tomorrow I'm probably going to go see a friend for a bit and we're actually going to finish he's never finished watching Berserk 1997. So we're probably going to sit down and chill for the day and watch some Berserk. So it'll be a good like decompress for me after finishing this section. So that's that nice, but like the Norska video will get done. But yeah, I'm going to be waiting on a couple assets. I'll try and like position up like a rough version of an outro. Generally, the way I see it going is it will go into a section about the climate of the 90s in Japan, and then we'll be talking about the ending of the manga, the perspective that Miyazaki gained from the ending of the manga, how that relates to Japan at that time, and then from there, I'll probably have to fast forward to the point where we're talking at like 2010 when he had to rewatch the film version for the remastering, or it would be, I guess it's 2009-8, like beforehand, and he apparently burst into tears because he saw that Nausicaa as a thing. I guess even the manga, the sense of Nausicaa is just not complete. Like he said it like it was like abandoned, and that will be kind of like, I guess, that final point of be around there, and then maybe we'll bring some more quotes in, and then from then it'll be about the future of Nausicaa, which is probably Hideaki Anno, who's definitely shown his interest many a times, and Miyazaki seems to have gotten more loose about that as the years went by. But I would not be surprised in the coming decade if we hear about Hideaki Anno's Nausicaa trilogy. I would not be surprised if that happens at all. Um, how did you background while drawing one? Sorry, HFC World. I don't understand your message. Is confusing me a bit. Um, oh, had you? Oh, okay, you had me in the background while you were drawing. Thank you very much. And Kwai-san, yeah, Kami-san, yeah, have a good one. All right, I'm gonna put some dinner on in a second myself. Yeah, hopefully we'll have 2 videos out by the end of September. Hopefully. Oh, so Jahi is the new comedy anime. Okay. Yeah. Oh god, I actually said I was going to do that in a second ago. Now I'm like still reading the chat. Uh, let's have a look. Where are we at? Yeah, actually, I should. Oh, okay. That didn't work. Okay, I was gonna say follow my Twitter, everyone, because all right, I might just quit the stream and just make some dinner, because it is getting late. It might just be easier for me that way. So what I'm gonna do, yeah, I'm just hungry and I'm like burning out a little bit. I need to sit down and like chill for a bit, I think, because I've been a little frazzled the whole stream. Apologies, but yeah, this is usually how it goes after like doing a lot of stuff. So here is my Twitter in the there's a link to my Twitter, everyone. So if you want to follow me to get like probably more, I mean, I'll hopefully update it more, and there might be some like little bits and pieces from the video. And when I know a date, when I know a hard date for the video, I'll put it on there. So, and I'll probably put it in the community tab. But yeah, if there's any updates and such, I'll give them over here, I reckon. But yeah, I think it is probably time for me to go make some dinner and call it a night. Quite frankly, it's getting late. We've been going for like, my timer says it's almost been 3.5 hours, so that's usually when I do it. Ah, buying a Huon tablet. Yeah, I mean, I've had a good time with the Huon tablets, so I hope they do you well, HFC. Almost fell asleep. Ah, F. Yeah, I mean, I like the Huon tablets I've used. But yeah, we'll probably yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like it is almost 9:20 over here. I want to make some food. But yeah, Kwai Booty Boy 9000, fucking the most iconic name. I appreciate you staying here, and I appreciate everyone came into the comments today. And yeah, I'm gonna go make some food, I reckon, and chill out for a bit. So yeah, I appreciate everyone coming in. So yeah, I'll see you then, everyone. Ooh, actually, am I ending it right now? I probably should. Yeah, well, how much water do I have left? Alright, one last gulp. One last gulp for the boy. For everyone. For the folks. We're going to have one last gulp. Everyone stay hydrated. And eat well. See you next Sunday at the same time.